Greg Zaslow is maintaining that tonight is a monster Miami sports night. Are you in agreement with a monster Miami sports night tonight?
No, I don't think you're a monster if you're playing a regular season game and you're both around 500. I don't know.
Well, he's not saying it's just football. He's saying it's the Heat, the Panthers, and the Dolphins all playing at the same time on a weeknight. That's not normal.
Right. Yeah, it's sort of annoying. Like, what if you want to watch all 3 games,
You still can in the modern age with all the technologies that people have.
Really?
They're on 3 different channels.
Yeah, but you're flipping back and forth. I mean,
You got a couple screens,
I think sports fans know how to watch 3 games at the same time.
Yeah, but they don't want to. You want to concentrate on a game.
Well, they're staggered. Like, one of them's at 7.
Yeah.
The other one's at 7:30, and the other one's at 8:15.
Yeah. It's fitting that the only one that really qualifies as a big game is the last one of the 3.
Okay, well, that's
Like the
great.
cleanup
So
there.
that's the main event.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't
admit
think
that.
any of them are that big. Like, why would the last of the 3 qualify as a major event?
I mean, the Dolphins are fighting for their playoff life. I almost sounded like Zaslow there for a minute.
It was fake enthusiasm.
It really
And you
was.
started laughing right afterward.
I know.
You're laughing at yourself. I
Yes.
heard that squeak come out of you
It
that
was
sounds
fake.
like a Christmas
Yes.
toy.
Correct.
Yes. So
It did.
the Dolphins are fighting for their playoff life. You can't even muster faux enthusiasm
Their
for that?
playoff life. They
It was
are.
that's like a mix of me and Eric Reed, I think you did there.
Kaboom! That's my Eric Reed impression. Kaboom!
Is that right?
Yeah,
I usually with impressions, you can just let them stand
That's
on
right.
their own. You don't have to explain right afterward what they are.
Tonight is not a monster night in South Florida sports. It's the 7th biggest night in South Florida sports history this year.
That's your Eric Reed.
Football is back, Jack. Oh my, we've waited for so long. We're so damn excited that we put it in a song. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. Keep your fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air. When the chips are down and you throw a prayer. When your team is primed and on the hunt. It's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control. And we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
Hey, Marco. How you doing? Surprise, surprise. This is Smokey Robinson. I know you didn't expect to hear from me. But I was contacted by your sons, Jeff and Jared. And they told me that you used to live in Detroit across the street from me. And gosh, that's beautiful. How you doing again? Nice talking to you again, I guess. But anyway, you're living in Vancouver now. And they wanted me to wish you happy Chinooka. I have no idea what Chinooka is, but happy Chinooka because they said so. Anyway, God bless you, babe, and enjoy Chinooka. Have a wonderful time.
On this Monster Miami sports night, we begin with Alai. Champions again. Alai is back, Jack. Mike Ryan went all over South Florida celebrating with the trophy this weekend. I felt like co-owner Chris Cody was pushed out of the way so that Mike Ryan could party with the trophy and Chris Cody couldn't get anywhere near the trophy. Let's play the winning point. Hundreds of people.
Shit stirring again.
Hundreds of people at Alai to celebrate this historic championship as the Le Batard Show with Stugotz continues to try to keep Alai alive as we have for 20 years. Here's the winning point for your champion Cyclones.
Nicholas with the catch at 13, low and hard. Manu's there again. Backhand from the 10. On the wall. Clean misses both ways. Here's Iñaki winding up. Philo, what a scoop by Etcheberry. Placement is caught by Iñaki. Iñaki, that lands in and scores for the win and the championship. Going to
hear that?
Iñaki and Manu of the Cyclones and the Cyclone squad.
Got to be a better call than that, no? For a championship point match.
Relax. We didn't make it very dramatic.
That was a hugely memorable last point, dramatic, with a lot of flourishing. And then at the end, Mike and Chris give traditional owners interviews.
That's right.
Chris, this team, and it started back in the draft, back a few months ago. How confident leaving that draft room were you in this version of the team?
The vibes were really strong leaving that draft. I'm just so glad we stuck with Manu this whole time. The start, the end. I'm so happy. Manu's the man. This is the Manu's championship right here.
And Mike, will ask you too, how's it feel, second championship in Cyclones team history?
Man, it felt like a really long time. To be able to go full circle, close things out here in Magic City, it's a special feeling, special team. Like Chris said, to be able to stick with our captain, Manu's such a special player, best backcourter in the world. Bueno coming back from injury, being super steady when the whole world doubted him. Jairo, I'm so happy for him. He's a veteran. He's never been to a final before. For him to win it, he was a crucial draft pick. Are you looking at the GM of the year? You might be looking at the GM of the year and the special weapon, Unda, the Undertaker. Let's go, Club!
All right, we'll let them celebrate and enjoy their moment. Folks, what a season.
Yeah!
I can't tell you how much I love that mascot for all the wrong reasons. Like, I wanted him to come in here this week and stained from a weekend of debauchery with smoking a cigarette. I saw that during that interview, Mike said you might be looking at the GM of the year, whereupon Chris Cody pops up in your screen and then runs off of the screen as soon as Mike says we're looking at the GM of the year. And I don't know whether he was talking about, is Mike the GM of the year or is Chris the GM of the year?
Oh, just stop it. Why are you trying to drive a wedge?
You can't do it. It's not going to be possible.
Is it in your DNA to just be happy for people? You open
you can't,
4 seconds into the show.
You can't spell Dan without the D, the N, and the A.
Come on, dog.
I mean, to Dan's point, who is the GM of the year?
The Cyclones.
We'll share it. What you guys are getting bogged down on the wrong thing.
You said
guys,
we're looking at the DM of the year. Who is it?
We are Season 8 Battle Core champions. Let's go. Period. That's the headline here. Yes. Where was the Greg Cody column? Where was it? Where was it?
Next to the back of my day.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You wrote an article about Chris becoming owner. You'd think that we'd get a full circle.
There seems to be a conflict of interest on the reporting that Greg Cody does on this show versus real journalism.
What makes you say that?
You wrote an article about your son being the owner of the Cyclones.
I barely remember.
How emotional was it? You were there.
Yeah,
you were
I was there.
When you say you barely remember, we remember. Before this moment, the most memorable moment at Alai at that fronton was you coughing so much during the pandemic that you fell down on the floor. You passed out and you fell down on the floor.
I fainted, is what happened. I did not faint the other night because I was the adrenaline was coursing through my veins. It was an exciting night. Hundreds of fans were there, and the action was great. I mean, it was just, it's a really interesting sport. Alai has died all over the country, but we're keeping it
all
alive
over the world
in South Florida.
I watched the whole thing, Dan. I watched the whole. It was on ESPN Plus. I watched the whole. Match was long, I'm gonna be honest. All right, it was my entire shift on ESPN. I'm on the radio and I had on my iPad. I watched the entire match, and then you could see Chris. At one point, they showed Chris in like the backstage area.
They did. At one point, the camera came up to me and they're like, "We're gonna show you." So I just had to do the thing of like
he was like watching, like really nervous mid match. And then he did like one of these. I think you were doing like a clones kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this motion. Yeah, it's the double C.
That's not what that looks like.
Hey, relax, family show.
It's not what that looks like. That doesn't look like.
Throw up your double C's.
What are the C's? What is the C's?
Oh, I see. I see.
Throw up your double C's. Let's go. Greg, let's see it.
The C stands for crank.
Yeah, very good.
I watched the whole thing. I'll be honest. I didn't know what was going on, but I watched the whole thing.
Well, what was going on is that they're champions again. The Cyclones are champions again, and we continue to keep Alai alive in South Florida and beyond. And I believe that we are celebrating this more this weekend than Inter Miami's championship because Messi went to India, didn't want to parade for the 37th best of his 43 titles, and so there was no Inter Miami parade, but there is a celebration of another South Florida championship. Mike, where did you end up with the trophy all weekend? The trophy was at Space. The trophy was at the University of Miami women's basketball game.
It was at the men's hoops game.
How'd you get to bring it in?
I know, folks.
Mike Ryan.
The golden cane.
Yeah, clear it.
Look at that. I can't wait for my day with the trophy.
Yeah, I took a photo with Sebastian.
You get a day with the trophy?
There were smatters everywhere. Clones, go Clones.
Thinking elbow room, Flanagan's.
Highlight champion, right there. That's a cup. You would hear whispers. Kyle Seeloff touched it.
Oh. Everyone showed up but
Look at
Roy.
Jason Taché.
Dwork was there. Jordan McPherson was there.
Wow, all the big names.
I think Mike Ryan bullied Jordan McPherson, by the way, into going that night because he came out and opened the thing and said, "Hey, Jordan McPherson, what the F about the AP vote?" And then he's like, "What do you want me to do, Mike?" And he's like, "Come to the highlight game." And he's like, "Okay, I'll be there." And then all of a sudden he showed up.
Greg, what were the highlights for you?
The highlights.
Were you there the whole time? Were you there the whole match?
Yeah, of course
The Miller
I
Lights
was.
were the highlight for him.
Of course I was. And by the way, to your point, it's a long game.
It's long.
You got to tighten it a little bit. Like, what is it, a best
I
of
have
five? Should be a best
never
of three.
heard after winning a championship someone who actually cares about their team complaining that it was a long game that they had to watch. It's because you two don't care. Like
No, I
you're
care.
you're noticing the length of the championship win because you're looking at your wristwatch wanting to get out of there. You don't actually care.
Look at this.
You
What a
can,
moment.
You can stop thinking that you care by complaining about how long the
care.
match is.
Look
Look
at
at
this.
that guy, Greg
That's
Cody.
a man caring right there.
Hoisting the trophy.
Damn right.
Earlier this year, he gave you crap for banging a drum at a Panthers game.
We can see why there was no highlight article after this.
Put it on the poll,
I'm
please.
too close to the sport.
At Le Batard Show, did you foresee a circumstance where the Dolphins season would last longer than the Chiefs season? At Le Batard Show, the Dolphins play against the Steelers tonight, and what we saw from the Chiefs yesterday is the seismic story in the sport because not only is the Chiefs thing done, that game finishes with Mahomes on the turf, making you wonder, oh, wait a minute. How much longer is Andy Reid going to want to do this? How much longer are their coaches going to want to do this? If it's Mahomes to the middle of next season and he's already getting hit more, he got hit more the last 2 years than he had in the previous 6 combined because of what his offensive line is. Only Herbert has been hit more this year than Mahomes, and at the very end, for a worthless cause. And that Chiefs team is better than its record. That rare is the non-playoff qualifier that has this kind of point differential. In fact, comparatively, Denver is such a fraud. Like comparatively, on an 11-game winning streak where all your games are an average of 7-point victories, the Chiefs have a great point differential, lost a bunch of close games, and are going to miss the playoffs even though they're not actually worse than the Dolphins.
Wait a minute. Listen, the Chiefs were known before this season for winning all those close games. That's been the big difference this year.
It's not an ability, Greg. The winning of close games is not an ability.
Of course it is.
No, it's not.
It is when you're playing bad teams. We looked at it. Their one-score victories that made everybody concerned, hey, how sustainable is this, came against bad teams. And this year, their one-score defeats came against good teams. They dipped. They weren't as good. Kelsey, obviously, looks a little different. Mahomes, I have always wondered, how is that body type going to age? He's torn his ACL in year 9. should be noted, so did Tom Brady. Both missed the playoffs, and then Tom Brady went on a several decades run.
Enough with the comparison. Like as if Mahomes is going to replicate Tom Brady's career. Brady had practically 3 Hall of Fame careers. The first run, then he got hurt, then the second run, and then the Tampa run.
But he's walking in his footsteps, Az. He's got the 3 Super Bowls. He's got the exact same injury. He's going to miss the year. They're going to be bad. They're going to get Jeremiah
Brady
Smith.
has 7 Super Bowls. We act like it's so easy to win
but now this is the
Super
next
Bowls.
act of Patrick Mahomes' career. Now it's act 2, another 3 Super Bowls.
Does Mahomes win another Super Bowl? Your best guess?
Yes.
No.
I don't think so either. They're done. The Chiefs dynasty died yesterday. The whole dynasty did. Andy Reid is on fumes. He's looking for an exit strategy.
Kelsey's definitely retiring.
Kelsey's done. Mahomes' best days are done. The offensive line stinks.
Well, this is what I didn't have, though, right? This is the part I did not have. After 9 straight division titles, 7 straight AFC championship games, and 3 straight Super Bowls, I did not have anything happening yesterday that would make me question next season this quickly. And the thing that happened is the thing that makes you wonder, oh, wait, did it all just come apart because they're trying to beat the Chargers and they can't do anything offensively and they lose at home 16-13 to the Chargers, and at the end of the game, he's getting hurt. None of you guys had that either, right? That even if they were eliminated, we would have thought of that as anticlimax, but we wouldn't have thought, oh, wait a minute, what does this mean until the middle of next year? Oh, wait, their defensive coordinator and their coach are super old. Do they even want a part of whatever is the problem with how many people they're paying guaranteed money when they can't get out from under what this season was? What I'm telling you, though, is that team was not as bad as its record, and you seem to object to what I'm saying, that winning 1-score games isn't an ability. Minnesota had it last year, and then they went into the playoffs and they didn't have it anymore.
Okay, but my point is, and it's quantifiable, Kansas City before this year has been noted for winning a lot of one-score games.
Last year they were great at one-score games, but this year wasn't. What happened to the ability? If it's an ability, what happened to it?
Okay, so you're saying last year was not an ability. They got lucky last year.
They did.
Okay.
They did. They've got a great quarterback. Look, what tilts the odds in your favor on one-score games is, do you have a great quarterback? So, yeah, if you've got a great quarterback, you're more likely to win one-score games.
Right.
But this year, Mahomes is a great quarterback and wasn't able to win them because it's not an ability.
Okay, I think winning teams often get denigrated for reasons like this. Okay, we're saying that New England's 10-game winning streak was because they had a soft schedule. We're saying Denver is winning a lot of close games. Denver just beat Green Bay, which was a real test.
Denver's average margin of victory during this winning streak, during the 11 wins, is 7 points. It's the smallest one ever for this kind of winning.
Okay.
Ever.
But
they're not dominating people. They're just beating them. And you tell me whether you'd be surprised if Bo Nix loses a playoff game to Herbert by 1 score.
I wouldn't be surprised by much this season. This has been a crazy NFL season all the way around.
To that point, though, yeah, they've been beating teams just barely, but then you look at a team like Green Bay who you look and say, okay, they might be the best team in the league, and then they dominate that team, and you're like, okay, wait, like this team might be for real with the defense, and Bo Nix could just do enough. He has another 4-touchdown performance, and they can go on a run. They can make it to the Super Bowl easily.
A lot of teams in the AFC could make it to the Super Bowl easily because you've got all of the usual participants in the AFC out. Look at how many quarterbacks have appeared in the AFC Championship game over the last 22 years. It's like 5 or 6 in terms of, like, it's always the same guys in the game, and now they're all eliminated. Right. So of course you're looking at what Josh Allen. The story of the day yesterday, there was a ton of football news yesterday, right? A ton. The football story of the day yesterday was what Buffalo did to New England as New England's trying to wrestle the top of the division from them. And all I'm listening to during the game, Drake May's blocking down the field. Everything's about, he's the MVP, he's the MVP, he's the MVP. No, he's not. No, he's not. The MVP played in the other huddle. The MVP is the guy who scores 4 touchdowns a game, 10 times more than anyone else since 2020. And it's the guy who came back from 21 down, or what was it? Yeah, it was 21 down. The Patriots had the longest streak in league history of, if they're up 17 at home, it was 120 games. They never lose the game, and they lost it yesterday.
As someone that just reps the Shield, though, I came away bummed overall because of what happened to Mahomes. Like,
you rep the Shield?
I rep the Shield, and I wanted to see Josh see if he could go through that quarterback.
And now Josh Allen doesn't look like he has to go through the quarterbacks that Dan highlighted. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow,
Still
Patrick
not going to
Mahomes.
get to the Super Bowl.
You don't think Josh?
No.
Like you've been firing off the definitive takes.
Their window's closed.
You've been saying the Chiefs are done and Josh Allen's not making the Super Bowl. I think Josh Allen's
racking
odds,
up some W's over
and the
here.
odds reflect this if you check DraftKings Sportsbook. Odds improved with what happened over the football weekend.
Buffalo's going to go on the road, win 3 games in the playoffs.
Well, they may not have to. They're still alive in that division.
Yeah, I mean, the series is tied 1-1, so it'll come down to division record. Right now, Buffalo's a game back in the division and a game back overall.
I understand.
New England's still pretty much in charge.
I understand your point in theory. Like, is Josh Allen going to go through 3 road games potentially? And as Dan highlighted, Bo Nix doesn't scare anybody. He just showed you what he can do climbing back from a 21 hole at Foxborough. If there's a quarterback equipped that you feel confident in going through these other quarterbacks in the AFC, it's certainly Josh Allen.
I mean, if he doesn't win this year, Josh Allen, he's never going to win.
Well,
right?
I don't want to do always and never. I do want to highlight a couple of things that are aberrations. One of them, the Bills 6 times this season, 6, that defense has allowed a rusher to have 185-plus yards. The other team has had 185 or more rushing yards 6 times. Josh Allen's 4-2 in those games. What's happening with Josh Allen is something that, of the remaining quarterbacks, this can only be said, I believe, of 1, not 2, not 3 of the remaining quarterbacks. If you're on defense, you fear him on 3rd and 11, and you fear him on 4th and 4. You desperately want the Bills to punt on 4th and anything because he's going to scramble around back there and make plays when he's down 14-3 last week in the game. And they look beat against the Bengals on 4th and 4. It doesn't matter against him. You are terrified on defense because he's different than any player in the league. In terms of how much he can just patchwork his team to be 4-2 when they stink at stopping the run.
And outside of James Cook, like, who's he throwing the ball to, right? It's a couple of tight ends. It's Khalil Shakir. Like, they don't really have anybody that's super dominant. It's just Josh Allen willing every single second of the game.
He's a different quarterback than anybody else. And when the score yesterday, I think at one point was 24-3 or 24-7, and they showed Mike Vrabel on the sideline, just with a huge grin, and you could tell his vibe was, we have this game.
He looked like he thought, like, we're the best team now.
We have this game. And I said to my wife, has he watched Josh Allen play? Has he watched Josh Allen go to work?
He looked really overconfident.
He did, and that was not a deficit that was safe with Josh Allen.
You see, he got his wife pregnant, Josh Allen. It's big news over the weekend, too.
Congrats to them.
Yeah, how about that?
I'm watching the announcers in that game, and the Patriots go up 7-0, and they start having the MVP conversation.
It's not winning the MVP.
Well, the color man, though, says, when they ask him who's the MVP, the color man says, right now, at 7-0, Drake May's the MVP. And they wanted so badly to make the story that when Henderson, who's Saquon Barkley reincarnated in the open field, when Henderson is going 75 yards with a touchdown and Drake May is blocking for him, the announcers, I can hear them getting out of their seat to celebrate. Look at the quarterback running down the field, making a block 70 yards down the field.
It was cool.
He is the MVP. No, he's not. It's the other guy.
Block is putting it strongly.
It was
he just
cool.
got in the way. He ran down the field and just kind of like
stride for stride.
A block, though. I mean, it's putting it strongly.
The MVP's in the other conference. Stafford's the MVP.
Yeah, it's number 9.
We didn't hear that at all.
The reigning MVP is in the other huddle, and it has not yet been taken away from him, and neither has the division. Drake May had the chance to do that yesterday. And here's the other thing Josh Allen has, and this one's not small, man. The Patriots are down, and it's 4th and 4, and they've got it at their 21-yard line with all their timeouts and more than 2 minutes in the game, and the announcers are saying the correct thing. You cannot give it back to Josh Allen because the MVP's in the other huddle. You cannot give the football back to Josh Allen because he'll finish you. It's just not something that exists anywhere else. Vrabel coached that game exceptionally well. And at the end, the other quarterback is there, and you fear him, and so you go for it on 4th and short at your own 21-yard line, and the game's over.
I couldn't believe the theater. yesterday watching the NFL. For Week 15, you have, is this the end for the Chiefs questions? You have Buffalo having a Waterloo moment, needing to come back from 21-0 and telling Drake May, no, the division isn't yours yet. You're wondering aloud if you're ever going to see Joe Burrow again.
Is Trevor Lawrence good?
Myles Garrett is chasing a record for sacks in Week 15.
I was locked into Phillip Rivers. I watched that whole game. I really enjoyed watching Phillip Rivers yesterday.
A lot of people did. I do think that something has changed with Jacksonville, and it's making Jacoby Myers their number one receiver. It's made them less incompetent at some of the very basic things on offense that they were just super sloppy.
ETN's awesome, too.
He is.
In spurts.
But I thought that Brian Thomas was a number one receiver, and he is not. And as soon as they moved him from number one receiver, all of a sudden their offense got a whole lot more consistent.
Well, remember, during the bye week, Liam Cohen said, all right, we're going to give Travis Hunter the ability to be kind of like our 1A guy, and BT will be another guy on the other side. And then Travis Hunter gets hurt. Then all of a sudden they have it flux. They trade for Jacoby Myers, and their offense has been awesome since then.
Well, I want to ask all of you this question, because we spend a lot of time talking about football around here, and any Monday I can come in here and say, hey, who do you guys think, which guards played well yesterday? And nobody would have the answer to it. I want to submit to you guys, based on what you've seen of the Bills' defense and statistics, do you think that for the Bills, yes or no question, Joey Bosa has had a good season? Yes or no?
No, not a great season. I think he's done well.
Let me do it another way. 5 sacks is what he's got this season.
Okay.
Has he had a good season? Yes or no? 5 sacks,
That's
Joey Bosa.
At his age, that's a good season.
I mean, he made a game-saving play.
Well, this is what I was going to say. He is causing more fumbles than anyone in the league. And to me, if I can have that as an ability, if I could get that from somebody, caused 5 fumbles, that person has had a good season, almost no matter what else they've done. If you can lead the league in caused fumbles, you have had a good season just with that. I just don't know that we measure that position very well. We usually do it with sacks. And so just about anybody listening to this, if I say 5 sacks for Joey Bosa, they'd be like, that's 1 every 3 games. That's not great.
Right. But he was a good add to a defense that needed him.
Yeah, but they haven't stopped anybody this year. They haven't been good at defense, and they haven't been great at pass rush, which I thought they were going to be.
They probably lose that game if he doesn't make that pass deflection. Wide open receiver there. The last line of defense was Joey Bosa's arms, and he got him up, and now we're talking about how the Bills wouldn't let the Patriots take the division.
Which is exactly what happened in Foxborough yesterday. Those fans, spoiled, entitled, earned arrogance, those fans thought halfway through that game, this is us eliminating the Bills as the top of this division, and then the entire stadium is rolling backward, afraid of Josh Allen at the end, because you know what's in the other huddle. What are you smiling about?
Whatever. It's two teams that neither one of them are going to win the Super Bowl.
Who do you have winning the Super Bowl? Like you're just so definitive in like burying teams that are right now like odds-on favorites. So who do you have?
If I ask you right now, Bills and Patriots to win the Super Bowl or the field, what are you going with?
I'll take the Bills.
Field.
Really?
I'll take the Bills.
Field.
I'll take the Bills.
You just lost money, and I won money.
I think this is how the story goes.
Chargers have a chance. They have a chance.
They're odds.
Yeah, I got one of the greatest coaches.
I locked in a Chargers AFC because I couldn't believe their odds. They were like north of plus 1,000. I understand like the Alt injury. Their O-line is like, they're killing Justin Herbert, but their defense is good enough that they got a shot in these. I like that as a flyer, but I think the stars are aligning for the Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills are going to be much better on defense when they get Ed Oliver back. That's a big, huge reason why everybody's running the ball against them. When Ed Oliver is healthy again, which should be soon, I think the Bills are appreciably better on defense.
I'm going to say it again off of that injury yesterday. This is from Bill Barnwell. Including sacks and quarterback knockdowns, Mahomes has been hit 153 times this season, a figure topped by only Justin Herbert. It brings me to the way that Joe Burrow has been talking recently, that a lot of people have heard sort of the sadness in his voice because he's getting hit a lot. It hurts to get up in the morning. It hurts to rehab through injury. And I will tell you something else that hurts that I think is being undercovered when it comes to Joe Burrow, speaking of sadness, because Joe Burrow may love football, but I think what he loves more is winning. It's winning football that he loves. Losing football is a different thing. And I will tell you that the Cincinnati Bengals, before Joe Burrow got there, were a cheap, laughingstock organization for decades. A sad place to work. Cold, antiseptic. You don't like being at the facility, not just because you're losing, but because the program is cheap. Your owners don't actually care about winning. Joe Burrow going to the facility, losing or winning in a city that's different than that one, cold, and your premises are cheap. Everything around you feels small. Joe Burrow lifts it, but the Bengals have been something you've laughed at for 40 years because they're cheap. And so Joe Burrow walks in and whatever, the stuff he's looking at everywhere is bleak, dark, and sad. Winning covers a lot, but losing doesn't help you getting up in the morning. If your body hurts and it's physically cold and you're walking to a program that you know is like, oh, this place is stinky. They're cheap people here. I've lifted them. And then you get yesterday. Do you have the sound of him in the postgame press conference yesterday where Joe Burrow the last couple of weeks sounds sad? And it makes me wonder whether he loves football or just winning at football.
We haven't been a good football team. You know, bad football teams do losing things. And number one, your quarterback has to play better than I did today.
Do you feel like there's too much weight on you where it feels like if you're not perfect, the team is good enough around you to pick you up?
You know, I feel confident in all those guys in the locker room. There's not a team in the NFL that would have won the game today if I was the quarterback.
Joe Flacco loves football. Phillip Rivers loves football. I don't know whether Joe Burrow loves football or just winning at football.
You see, talk about being cheap. The Bengals yesterday, they didn't clear the snow off the seats. The NFL requires you to clear the snow off the seats before the fans arrive. The Bengals didn't do that, so they're likely going to get fined by the NFL. Can you imagine you show up to the game, it's however little degrees it is, you have to clear the snow off your seats to watch your team score 0 points.
The Bengals in my lifetime are the only football team I have ever covered that I have thought to myself they have no interest in actually winning. They're here to make money off of the business of it. They are not interested in spending except as much as the league and the rules insist that they must.
If I were Joe Burrow, and I gave him a lot of credit because I would love the truth, the absolute unvarnished truth from a quarterback in a situation like this, not that he would ever say it, Joe Burrow should have said, we have the worst defense in the NFL. It's quantifiable. Our defense has given up more points than any other team in football. Tough to play like that. Tough for an offense to go into a game knowing that they might have to score 34 points to win.
Yeah, but they needed to, yesterday, the Ravens needed to score 1 point to win.
Right. That's true. That's true.
How would you get the 1 point? That's hard. That's hard, just 1 point.
Can we just kick an extra point, guys?
It was going to be hard to stop them from scoring the 1 point that they would have needed to win yesterday.
No, that's fair in that case. But the larger point is that the defense sucks.
But that has nothing to do with yesterday. Yesterday, I know that they've had more games this year. Jeremy, look this up for me. They've had a number of games this year where they've scored 30-plus points and lost. Joe Burrow has had a number of games. So that would be fair on another day. Not yesterday, though. A quarterback could have won them that game yesterday.
Right.
They needed a quarterback to not throw a pick six that Van Noy is handing to Gilman with the...
That was awesome.
It looked like a baton race where it's like, here, take it.
Cool.
That was the fact that Van Noy knew that's I need to give this to somebody who's faster than me. I'm not going to make it those 90 yards.
Or a quarterback that could hit a streaking wide open Jamar Chase. I think it's really interesting that after those comments a few days ago, Joe Burrow threw up like his worst game.
We all should have known. Like watching that press conference last week, it should have been so obvious to everyone. Oh, they're going to be really terrible.
0 points against a defense that has struggled this year, and Joe Burrow doesn't look like himself at all. At all.
How did it happen, Dan? Like, how did it happen where he returned 3 weeks ago and he was He was asked on the sideline by the reporter before the game started why he hurried back. And he's like, I love football. We get paid a lot of money to play a game. I like, football's fun. And then just 3 weeks later, I don't know if he's going to play football anymore.
These two teams played. The Bengals moved the ball.
They kicked the shit out of them.
Yeah, they look good. And then he says he doesn't know if he's having fun, and he's worried about the head injuries, and he sounds like he's got this really dark energy, and they throw up 0 points. I think you could really look into those comments.
3 such games this year where the Bengals have scored 30-plus points and lost the game. 2 of them were with Joe Flacco. One game in which they scored 42 points against Chicago, and one game where they scored 38 points against the Jets, and both of those losses were at home.
Dan, the handicap seats were covered in snow when the fans got there. Come on.
Is that a big deal?
The handicap seats?
Even the handicap seats. You get a neighbor.
We say ADA now.
You get a neighbor
to
brush off your seat for you. The seats
neighbor?
The seats are this big. The seats are this big. You go like this with your hand. Get rid of the
Let
snow.
me give you
Such a Florida guy right there.
Let me give you a better stat here, okay? Over the last 2 years, okay, the rest of the NFL when scoring 33 points is 136, 10, and 2. So there have been 148 games played, and 10 of them have been losses. Cincinnati, when scoring at least 33 points the last 2 years, 4-7. So 7 of those 10 losses are Cincinnati. It's just their defense is terrible.
Right. That's my point.
And he's feeling kind of hopeless.
Yes.
Can't believe Al Golden didn't fix this. I am stunned.
It was right.
So Monster Miami Sports Night, according to Zaslow, the Dolphins are playing. Are you going to hate watch that? How does this work?
Why would I hate watch it? They're my team. I'm going to
because you hate
watch
because you hate watching Tua.
Well, I hate watching Tua, that's for sure. But the A-Chan's fun to watch.
Yeah, he is.
Give the ball to A-Chan.
Is he healthy? Is he
yeah,
going to
he's
play?
expected to play. Expected to play. Give the ball to A-Chan. I like watching Minka. He's fun to watch. I'm into this team, man. They got a game that matters. Hey, there's some teams out there like the Kansas City Chiefs. They're done. Dolphins aren't done. I'm watching this game tonight. I'm into it. Hopefully by the time the Dolphin game starts, matter of fact, because the game starts at 8:15, Panthers start at 7. Hopefully the Panthers, maybe we're up like 2-0 at the stupid Lightning by then. So I'm in a great mood. The Heat game will still be, like maybe early second quarter. Maybe the Heat got a lead. I don't know. I can't predict the future. But hopefully, can we go 3-0 tonight?
Roy, the Lightning, have they fixed everything or just in the regular season? They fixed it in the regular season, which is when
Cats are rolling right now, Roy.
Yes, the Panthers are currently hot with that 4-0 win in Dallas. That was classic Panther hockey.
You know about that shutout?
How can they be hot if they
Good
just lost to
Stars team.
Colorado 6-2 and Colorado?
Because they're
Second
4-5.
night of a back-to-back
damn
in
good team,
Denver.
They
That's
won
an
4-5.
impossible game.
Colorado
with the
has
brace.
lost how many times this year? 2?
2 times in regulation. Panthers are going to go there second night of a back-to-back? Please. Panthers won 4-5. They just skunked the Dallas Stars. We're cooking with gas right now.
How about the
man.
Mammoths? Are they good?
Panthers didn't care if they're good or
I
not.
don't think it's plural. It's just
Took that
it's
ass.
just the Utah Mammoth.
Oh man, okay.
It's a singular
Still learning.
Fine.
Still learning.
Singular ass that was taken. not
A bunch of mammoth ass. Only one mammoth ass.
a singular mammoth ass. One of them.
Kachuk is coming back soon.
And tonight the Heat play Toronto at
Per Jeff Passan, first baseman Josh Bell has agreed to terms with the Minnesota Twins. The 33-year-old is a switch hitter who will help them both offensively and defensively.
Wow, still doing Vecna, huh?
He found a bit that works, and in the style of this show, we run it right into the ground. Several episodes past its expiration date, we continue
doing Josh Bell updates.
Well, the original ones weren't any better than that. I miss Josh Bell. Josh Bell is worthy of an update locally. That's a good local update,
That's a former Marlin who made a postseason with the franchise.
God, 3-0 tonight would be so good. Panthers, Heat, Dolphins. Oh, I'll be on fire tomorrow morning.
See you on the broadcast.
Blank space on the calendar. Formula One is back in Azerbaijan despite its reputation for tight corners and narrow roads. F1 is putting a sprint race in Baku. On Saturday, Charles Leclerc is fearless in pole position as the sprint begins. But at the start, London boy George Russell delivers some karma to Max Verstappen, making him a move to push him wide. Max is red, but George says, don't blame me. Number 22, Yuki Tsunoda, clips the wall and loses a tire after just 2 laps. At the restart, Sergio Perez has a lead with 5 laps left. It's time to go. Checo wins the sprint race, but Max and George have bad blood when the race ends. You guys see what I'm doing yet? Will there be vigilante shit on Sunday?
This
Max,
is amazing.
You need to calm down because it's lights out and away we go in Baku. Sparks fly, and Verstappen is driving like he's in a getaway car and pulls out into the lead. Long story short, Nick DeVries has a glitch and a safety car ensues. Perez is in the lead after a slew of pit stops, but he's not out of the woods yet. The one driver, Max Verstappen, has speed, but that's when Sergio Perez says, bye-bye, baby. As the race ends, Esteban Ocon goes into the pit, but the mastermind race organizers have let press onto the treacherous pit lane. This is why we can't have nice things. 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton finishes 6th. The last great American dynasty, Haas, finishes out of the points, but today was a fairy tale for Sergio Perez. Verstappen finishes in 2nd, which is better than revenge. 1-2 for Red Bull is nothing new. They don't have champagne problems on the podium, but the anti-hero Max Verstappen is only ahead in the Drivers' Championship by 6 points. Fernando Alonso and Taylor Swift rumors are swirling. Long live Formula One. Max Verstappen has won the Drivers' Championship, but we still have 4 races to go. In Austin, Daniel Ricciardo rides a horse named Horsey McHorseface into the paddock. Zach Brown accuses Christian Horner of cheating, and Fort Lauderdale's own Logan Sargent will join Williams in 2023. During quali, Carlos Sainz takes the fastest lap while his teammate Charles Leclerc takes a grid penalty. Martin Brundle gets snubbed by Brad Pitt. Tim Apple doesn't know how to wave a flag. 440,000 people are at the Circuit of the Americas. It's lights out and away we go. On turn 1, Max Verstappen gets ahead of Carlos Sainz, and Sainz tries to recover, but gets hit by George Russell. The Spaniard is out of the race before the 1 lap is even over, and Russell takes a 5-second penalty. Valtteri Bottas' race ends early, and a safety car helps out Charles Leclerc for once. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll get in a massive collision, and debris is everywhere. Lewis Hamilton, on hard tires, leads the race with 10 laps to go, but the Flying Dutchman cannot be beat this year. It's Verstappen, Hamilton, and Leclerc. Sebastian Vettel battles to the finish in his final USGP. Baby Lando finishes 6th, and Yuki gets a point. Red Bull wins the Constructors' Championship for the first time in 10 years, a day after their founder's passing. People are crying, there's champagne flowing, fireworks are popping off. Everything is bigger in Texas, Dan, except for F1 drivers.
Yes, it's time for the F1 minute here, even though I want to hear that sound
gave it
again.
away?
Je suis stressé pour les minutes de Formule 1. J'ai besoin d'énergie. Énergie.
Let's go, energy.
Oh, energy.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Circuit Paracas pour le Grand Prix de France. Les températures élevées sur le circuit signifient que la gestion des pneus va être essentielle. Charles Leclerc, le pilote automobile monégasque, fait face à Max Verstappen pour la première place. Le pilote Ferrari doit gagner pour rester dans les championnats. Mais non! Quelle horreur! Une catastrophe! Sacré bleu! Charles Leclerc sort de la course! Encore de la malchance! Il est fini! Une honte! Max Verstappen prend une grosse avance. Lewis Hamilton, le pilote Mercedes, est 12e. Carlos Sainz, l'autre pilote Ferrari, a commencé à la 19e place. Tout sa pénalité pour le changement du moteur. Et les roues contre roues avec Sergio Perez, mais l'imbécile de chez Ferrari recommence. Max Verstappen a fini premier de la course. Carlos Sainz est le pilote toujours. Lando, l'enfant Norris, a terminé 7e. Lance Stroll a terminé avec un point. Félicitations, Mike Crack.
Huh?
Wow! Oh my God!
Holy shit! Holy shit!
Merci.
Oh my God! Was there an imbecile in there? Did you say
Les
imbecile?
imbéciles de chez Ferrari recommencent.
That sounded so exciting. I have no idea what happened.
Les pauvres Charles Leclerc, les pauvres.
My God, that was incredible.
That was really
I am
good.
so
Merci,
jealous that
merci
you can do that.
Christophe, merci Guillermo.
Well, the music ran out, but I think you should, because we didn't have an F1 minute today. I think you should give people Lord of the Rings minute. Yes, I think you should give people.
Spoiler alert or no spoiler
Dangerous
alert?
game, man.
Dangerous game because of what?
To us, you can spoil as much as you want. So I say go for as many spoilers as you like.
All right, I'll give a spoiler of what happened at the end of the last
Hold on.
episode.
Let me get you.
Hold up.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Happy Chinooka.
This guy is really good. He is prolific. Josh Pate comes on live on Saturdays and all over your week, giving college football analysis and information that is instant and very strong. Josh, thank you for being on the program. Give me the precedent or historical comp to the surprise that Indiana is this year.
Man, oh man, I guess you'd have to go to college basketball, Dan, to find the most ready parallel for it. I'm just not sure it really happens in college football. And I also want to remind people, like last year was the flash. You know, if you were to have what we historically in sports would call a flash in the pan, last year would have been that, right? You've got a guy who takes over a bottom-dwelling Big Ten program. Indiana exists in the Big Ten so that Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, et cetera, can rack up wins. He takes over that job. He imports his James Madison roster. James Madison makes the playoff the next year, mind you. Indiana makes the playoff and then gets better the year after that and makes the playoff and is the number one overall seed. I don't know what the parallel is for it. I will tell you sort of the whole side lane of all this has been how bad it makes other coaches look. Because every other coach is out there begging for patience, and they're trying to sell their booster class and their administrative class that it takes 2-3 years minimum. And that used to work. And now all of that's burned up because your fan base and your donor base and your AD even knocks on your door and says, hey, you've got infinitely more resources, at least we thought, than Cignetti has at Indiana. Why has he been able to do it? And they really have no answer.
I've been arguing that Vanderbilt had its best season ever, Missouri best season ever, Texas Tech best season ever, Indiana best season ever. Is there anyone else, and is this just a product of what you're talking about? You can just get a coach now, and a coach and quarterback can go from North Texas to Oklahoma State, and you can fix your program by just doing it that quickly.
I think you can. I think there's a lot of truth to that. Now, I also think it is fraught with vulnerability because you could also try it and crash and burn, or you could have what's happened at Florida State, where you go and you do it one time. You portal your way to success one time, and it sort of crystallizes this belief that you can just do that every year. And really, that's not anyone's aim, Dan. That's not even Cignetti's aim at Indiana. That's not Clark's aim. I'm in Nashville, down the road at Vanderbilt. That's not their aim. Their aim is really to build through high school recruiting. It's just they realized, what are we doing? We're really building through high school recruiting just so the big boys can come in 2 years from now when they've developed on our dime and they portal out. So they've got to lean a little more heavy in the portal than that. But I also think there's this other thing happening. So as the portal, as NIL is elevating the level that those programs can operate at, I would also ask you, look around the country today versus a decade ago. Tell me where the dominant line of scrimmage play is. Nobody, your Alabamas, your Texases, Georgia, nobody has dominant offensive line play anymore. And that used to be the catch-all. That used to be what completely yanked your lifeline out of the wall, was their ability, the big boys' ability to just lean and lean and lean. And football's a game where you get to put your hands on other people. And so at a certain point, you're powerless because it's not college basketball. No one really possesses that. They have it in spurts. Teams have it in spurts, but no one wire to wire possesses that. Even among the playoff teams right now, who's dominant on the offensive and defensive lines the way Bama would have been a decade ago, the way Georgia was even 5 years ago? So I think those two things happening at the same time have opened the door for some things that we used to say could never happen in college football.
How much would you argue with me if I said Texas Tech should be favored to win the championship?
I'd argue a little bit. I've watched them a couple of times really, really up close. And the only thing that I would kind of push back on is I don't know that they would have the quarterback play to get them over the top. Like, I think eventually quarterbacks have to win games. You guys are we're all gonna watch Miami and A&M Saturday, for example. Those are two really good pass rushes. Those are two teams that can shut the other team's run game down. And it eventually just comes down to, can Carson Beck really have a few series that he puts together where he wins a game? Can Marcel Reed do that? Well, I would ask the same question at Texas Tech. And I do think that they have a defensive side of the ball. It's just littered with Sunday talent, littered with SEC Big Ten talent. Can they win 3 of them? Can they string together 3 of them? And do I think that they could consistently do that enough to be considered the favorite? That's where I'd push back a little bit, because even though everyone's fallible at this point, I think I trust other quarterback situations more than theirs.
Hey, Josh, big fan, go Freights. The Michigan job. You've been ahead of this story, and your most recent podcast shed a lot of light on it. How quickly do you think that we actually see this job filled? Because there's a lot of questions to be asked of Michigan and its leadership. If I'm a head coach, am I signing with a program that may be under scrutiny? Will I still have that same AD that hired me?
Yeah, look, it's really interesting how that search is going to happen, actually. You know, we just saw a Penn State search where, for better or for worse, the athletic director ran point on it. I don't know that that's the way the Michigan search is operating, but I also don't know what the future of Ward Manuel is there. In fact, they may just be putting that off until they hire the head coach. That is a very, very strange situation, I will grant you, to jump into. The counterpoint to that is, you know, a little birdie flew in my ear last night and told me, do you realize since we fired Ward, we've actually had an uptick in our NIL contributions? Reading between the lines, that tells me there were a lot of deep-pocketed people up there that were not very happy just with the general direction, just with the general existence of the program with Sharon. I think Sharon, if you zoom it out to 50,000 feet, was always kind of looked at by a lot of people up there as a bridge coach. We're gonna put you in place at the tail end of the Harbaugh stuff, right in the middle of the NCAA stuff. We don't know what's going to be on the other side of this bridge, and it's really foggy. Well, the fog lifted. The worst case scenario didn't happen, and then you're just stuck with a coach that truthfully was bottom quarter to bottom half of the Big Ten from a caliber standpoint, and then you get this mess dropped in your lap. So it ends the way it ends. I think they look at it and say, it really doesn't matter which direction we go, we're going to upgrade. Whether that's true or not, that's what they believe. I think they're really ready to spend, and I think a lot of candidates are going to be sold on that idea. It's not false, by the way. I mean, it's like an untapped oil field up there from an NIL donor perspective, and it's the Michigan job. And, you know, if you're going after Kalen DeBoer, yes, I always thought it was going to be really hard to pull him away from Alabama. I still feel that. I know they won't give up until they actually get him looking them in the eyes and saying no. Like a Twitter statement's not going to do for them, and I get that. I don't think they're getting DeBoer. But if you go after a Kenny Dillingham, for example, if you go after a Jed Fish, those guys probably, given their current situation versus what they could inherit at Michigan, could be willing to say, you know what? I'll assume a little bit of that risk because of the reward that I think I could bring us, and it could bring me there. So to answer the first part of the question, I think it's going to go on a little bit because I really do think they insist on getting a firm no from Kalen DeBoer. That could be as early as Friday night or Saturday of this week. Or if they just keep winning, it could be as late as into the new year. And they got to adjust their timeline accordingly, probably, if that happens. But I do think once they get the no, and I do think it'll be a no from Kalen, you move on to like a Kenny Dillingham or a Jed Fish. I think that's when you start to really see rubber meet road there, because I don't know that either of those guys are able to turn down the full force of what the Michigan offer would be.
I'd take that job in a second if I were DeBoer. Get out from under all the Saban stuff and just start over in a place with happier.
Same pressure.
No? Yeah, but you're not following the guy.
I mean,
you're following the guy after the guy.
I don't think it is the same pressure, actually. And it's a place where you're new on hope. You're not stained. But put this on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Is Josh too young to have little birdies flying in his ear? And look up for me why it is that it is a little birdie that flies into someone's ear with information. Is it carrier pigeon related?
Josh, you mentioned a couple of months ago that you believe that there is a job, a big job, that is going to open up because something is happening. Were you talking about the Michigan job?
Yes, I was talking about the Michigan job. I believed that job was going to open up because I thought it had two possibilities. The first was just competitively. I believe I said it after they had lost the Oklahoma game. So you still knew that you had the trip to USC coming up. They lost that one. And you had the Ohio State game coming up. If they lost one other game along the lines, I thought they could have fired Sharon just because competitively they didn't think that he was meeting the standard. But that was also armed with the knowledge that there was this other stuff going on in the background. Now, it would be a total lie if I told you, man, hey, I knew Michigan had cause to fire him right then and there. They didn't even know they had full cause to fire him until last week. So I just thought if they're looking for a reason, maybe they're given a reason on the field. But all I was doing at that point was echoing what a lot of people in the business were saying, and that was, hey, with the Penn State job coming open, and Florida just fired Napier, and LSU made a move. As all that hurricane started to swirl, I kept on getting told, hey, the Michigan job may come open. The Michigan job's probably going to come open. And at that point, if you remember, no one was considering that as a possibility. Michigan was ranked. They were fine. They had come out of the NCAA scandal stuff. So that was really not on the radar. And I was just thinking to myself, man, with all these other big jobs opening up, if Michigan gets thrown into the fold here, what is that about to do to the hiring cycle? And it did get thrown into the fold just after the other jobs already got taken.
Greg, Cody, you had a great many objections to Pavia's behavior this weekend around the Heisman ceremony.
Well, look, it was a Cinderella story, right? Mendoza's the first Cuban-American ever to win the Heisman. He was great with his speech. Indiana, Cinderella story. It was a wonderful night. And then Pavia, the runner-up, embarrasses himself in his school by what he wrote on Instagram. I'm just wondering what your thoughts were on that.
I learned last year that if you're going to take Diego Pavia, you got to develop this different filter. I called it the Pavia filter. It's a reference I've used several times where that's just going to get caught in the filter. Now, you could choose to reject him, not like him, and I considered that last year, at which point I would have just been turned off by all of it. Yeah, I hate that kind of stuff. Can't stand it. I just learned that, hey, man, if I'm going to let him in, like if I'm going to accept him, if he's going to be in my bubble, I'm going to have to accept to a certain extent that you don't get the kind of competitive character that you get, whether you like it or not. You don't get the kind of competitive character you get from a guy that's 5'8" on a good day, playing at a Heisman level without a little bit of that mental edge. Because I don't think if he has that you know what about him, I don't even think that he's there to begin with. I think it's just been mandatory for him. The other part of that, I'm interested to see what you guys think about this, because I don't get tied up in the Heisman a whole lot, but the award says it's for the most outstanding player in college football. And if you eliminate everything you think about Diego Pavia off the field or the way he runs his mouth or everything like that, I don't know that I saw a more dynamic player, more important to their team this year than him. But my working theory on why Mendoza won in like such a runaway fashion was, with all the coaching search stuff happening in the middle of the year, I don't think people paid a whole lot of attention to the Heisman race until the last weekend of the season. And that's why you go into that Saturday, Diego's like a co-favorite with Fernando Mendoza. And by the end of the Big Ten title game, which was a 13-10 game, Mendoza's odds are like minus 3,000. I found it curious that kind of performance was like the end-all, be-all indicator in the Heisman odds market. But there's not an outrage for me either way. But I do think, yeah, Diego Pavia, man, I learned a long time ago, you're either going to accept that with him or you're just going to have to toss him out entirely.
Cam Ward threw for 2,000 more yards than Mendoza. Like, that was just given to him because he was 22 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in the red zone, and we didn't expect anything from that football team. He had 2 moments. Pavia did not have 2 moments. He had the moment against Penn State, and he beat Ohio State. It's all he needed to win that trophy.
Pavia, more passing yards in 1 fewer games than Mendoza, and led Vanderbilt in rushing, I think, 7 of their 12 games this year. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
It's silly, but when you have an upset of that kind, like, it doesn't make any sense to see Indiana be good at football. They were good once with Penix. I think in the last 20 years, aren't they like 50 or 60 games below 500 in the last 20 years? And all of a sudden, they're beating Ohio State, and who is the favorite? Who's the favorite to win the championship?
If you believe Vegas, Ohio State is. I don't know that Ohio State feels that way right now after what Indiana did to him. So look at me. I'm shaking as I talk. I have no idea.
Okay. His YouTube channel, you have to watch and subscribe, at Josh Pate's CFB, and he's the host of Josh Pate's College Football Show. A lot of good information there. Josh, thank you for being on. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Dave.
A number of different college football things that I want to get to with you guys. You liked the Mendoza speech. You liked the Miami speech. You liked the Cuban kid reaching the masses at the Downtown Athletic Club.
I mean, he's the most Miami player who's ever won the Heisman Trophy. The Canes have had 2 Heisman winners. Neither one of them were Miami
He's the most
guys.
Belen player to ever win the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, he's the most Belen/Columbus. He went to both schools.
He went to both schools.
He went to both schools. He would take offense to being called a Belen kid, though.
Really? Greg, respectfully. Okay, I like you, Greg.
Yeah.
That was not a Miami speech whatsoever.
That was a Columbus
If you want a
speech.
Miami speech, I will give you a Miami speech.
Would you like a Cuban? Would you like what the Cuban Miami Heisman speech should have sounded
Should have sounded
I
like?
would love that.
So because
I would
you're
love that.
you're a Broward guy.
Okay, he
and-
did speak Spanish a little
Poorly,
bit.
poorly,
A little bit.
poorly.
Okay.
Poorly. I mean, come on.
Have some pride.
But would you not agree that he's the most Miami guy to ever win the Heisman? He ranks above the two Canes who won.
Yeah, Vinny Testaverde and Gino Torretta don't give off a whole lot of Kendall.
They're from New York and California.
Although looking at Vinny, not speaking, but looking at Vinny could pass for Cuban.
Yeah,
I do believe he could.
We can claim him. We can claim Vinny.
Just visually.
Testaverde.
Where can we put you? Let's go find you a Heisman room. Write up a speech and do a dead. Let's go.
Yes.
Go to the Heisman. Go to the Downtown Athletic Club elsewhere in our building and tell me when you're ready. Tell me when your Miami.
I'm going to write it up
speech,
right now. It's going to be a Miami speech. Like if I would have won the Heisman, this is what it would have sounded like if I would have won.
Excellent.
I want to do funniest thing from the sports weekend with you guys here as Tony gets that ready, and then we'll close out the segment with Tony's Heisman speech. But are you guys ready to do funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. Get the imaging ready here because I have a nominee. And also do me the favor, video, of just finding for me a photo so I could present it to the audience of a Seattle Seahawk named Brady Russell. Just find me a photograph of Brady Russell and put it on the screen. I will wait for you as I nominate what was, for me, the funniest thing from the sports weekend. It involves Brady Russell. Hit the imaging, Chris.
Hey, people, tell us what in the sport made you laugh hardest this weekend. It is a segment we call What Made You Laugh This Weekend. Ha ha ha!
So I don't know if you guys saw this during what I'm going to call the Phillip Rivers game, because I do believe that a whole lot of people in the 4 o'clock window
was awesome.
Didn't care about Green Bay and Denver, certainly didn't care about New Orleans and the Panthers. Panthers still in the mix. Panthers are in the mix.
Awful.
I heard the announcer shout "Holy guacamole" on the late hit that won the game for the Saints there. I hadn't heard a "Holy guacamole" on television in a while. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you love when the sports announcer yells "Holy guacamole"? But my funniest thing from the sports weekend is that in the Colts-Seahawks game, the Seahawks at one point ran a little a rollout. Sam Darnold, he threw it to this guy, Brady Russell. And what happened is he just simply dropped the ball. He was open, and he was wide open, and the rollout fooled the Colts, and they just threw it to Brady Russell. And the announcers torched him as soon as he didn't catch it. This is what they did. They're like, that's his first touch this season, and that's going to be his last touch this season. He will never be trusted again in that situation as long as he lives. The announcers just buried him. He will never again get that touch. Those teammates will never trust him again to catch the football in that situation.
Never?
That's what they were doing. They crushed him. I have rarely heard an announcing team annihilate a nobody the way this announcing team went out of its way to point out that poor Brady Russell, who dropped that ball, will never again catch a ball in his experience playing football. Mike Ryan, what was your funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Well, I wanted to go with one of two things. Hopefully we have the video of Messi playing passes with a politician that was basically granted a Make-A-Wish in India. The reason we do not have a championship trophy parade for Inter Miami is because Messi just decided to take millions upon millions in going to India and subjecting himself to this kind of stuff. By the way, there was a full-on riot.
God.
Full-on riot at one of the stadiums because Messi was kind of shielded by huge throngs of people, and the only people allowed on the pitch with Messi were politicians and privileged people. These people in India lost their minds, started throwing the seats from the stadium. It was a full-on riot. I also have a 1B, which was Roy on Friday saying he needed to get his legs under him for a media skate.
You realize I paid for that, right? Paid actual money.
Well, you missed the championship being won. Yeah. This is your title, too. The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz owns the Cyclones. Yeah. This was a victory for all. David Dwork was there. Jordan McPherson was there. Roy left us at the altar.
Nah, I knew you guys had it in the bag.
Roy, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
I want to show a picture from WWE's Saturday night's main event and John Cena's final match. Just before he tapped out the Gunther, he had a smirk on his face in a sleeper hold. It looked like one of those memes saying, what opinion do you have that's going to end up have you in this position?
We're going to get back to that. Zaslow was there, and I want to cover more of this. Zaslow was in attendance for that. Cena submitted the first time in his career. He's a quitter, as punctuation on his career.
Yep.
One of the rare times you will see a scripted event end up amid the headlines in sports because a guy has done something that's so dramatic. You rarely – there is nothing other than wrestling that is like this, where you get a major sports headline.
It was a phenomenon.
That was scripted. Jeremy, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Both funny and relatable. Josh Allen admitted that he throws up every single game on the sideline.
They caught him this week. He's surprised he hasn't been caught more often, but every game he throws up. Dennis Erickson used to do that.
That's why the Bills aren't going to ever win a Super Bowl.
Probably different reasons.
Yeah.
Chris, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
I mean, the Chiefs being eliminated from playoffs before the Dolphins.
Yeah. What are you laughing about, Greg?
what Mike said about Dennis Erickson. I've witnessed some of that without going into detail.
Go on.
No, I mean, that kind of thing. I covered UM for 4 years.
Greg, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
I have a quick addendum to what Mike said about Lionel Messi's tour of India. Erected in India was a statue of Lionel Messi. Now, it's common in the statue game for statues to be slightly larger than life. In this case, the Messi statue is 70 feet tall. That's right, 12 and a half times bigger than the 5'7" Messi.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is 12 and a half times bigger than the human being too big for a statue? Yes or no? Zaslow, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
So on the Fox pregame show, I don't know if you know, but Tom Brady, he's a broadcaster for Fox, and he was in studio with those guys, and they were making a list. They were doing rankings of, best gifts, because the holiday season, best gifts that a player has given his teammates. And very high up on the list, presented as such by Aaron Andrews and Carissa Thompson, was a gift that Tom Brady gave his offensive lineman one time.
Tom Brady, of course, that's when his team went undefeated in the regular season. He gifted his O-line, ready? Brand new luxury SUVs. What a class act. You got a guy. Hey! I want you guys to pay attention. There's a catch. There's a catch. Tom Brady, stop stealing our line. The catch to all this is the cars were on a 1-year lease.
Beggars can't be choosers, all right?
Come on. 1 year here. I'm giving you a gift, but you can only have it for a year.
I wonder if he had to actually pay for that or just do a sponsorship deal with the car dealership where he comes out, does autographs a couple of times, and all his offensive linemen get a 1-year lease.
You know it. Yeah, but that is so cheap. Yeah, that is so cheap. I would, if I'm the lineman, I would rather get a Kia than I can own than a 1-year lease.
It's not that cheap, and that something like that probably costs a great deal of money. A 1-year lease on a luxury vehicle like that.
What could a monthly lease be? $1,000?
No, it's going to be tens of thousands of dollars that will end up costing him per lineman.
Yeah. So like $50,000 is what he paid in totality for his offensive line. That sounds kind of cheap.
If he paid anything at all, what's your guess though? Do you think he paid his own cash, or he
Hell
just
no.
had a deal with the dealership?
Yeah, totally that deal with the dealership.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Another funny thing from the
You know what it
weekend,
means?
you can't deny that this was funny. Everything related to Phillip Rivers was funny, including that he played beyond where it is that perhaps you thought he would play, but can't throw the ball downfield at all. Like, it's going to be just bubble screens and screen passes and slants, and there's just nothing else there. But I did like watching his high school team watching him because he's a grandfather, and his high school team, how cool must that be for a high school team to watch their coach be with them on Monday with no indication whatsoever that he's ever going to play again, and they're young enough that they actually haven't seen him play. Like, my guess is that 7th graders, 6th graders might not have been paying a whole lot of attention to Phillip Rivers' playing days. And then he plays in the game, and among other things, Mike Ryan bet for him to have more than half a rushing yard. He ended with negative 1/2 rushing
exhilarating,
yard.
though. What a great goof bet.
I will say, I followed him with the bet.
Oh, come on. That was the one
He ended up with
show of solidarity that I had with the old guy.
negative 5 yards.
Oh, there was no chance.
Where he fell down.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
And then he got up and started to run. And
He did almost get a yard on that play. He almost got Mike Ryan's 0.5 of a yard on the play where he fell down and just crawled around.
Can't believe he was able to get up there.
One of my favorite bets ever.
Can I read you this tweet that Chase Daniel, the former quarterback, retweeted about Phillip Rivers? Listen to this. No coincidence that Rivers goes back to the NFL right before his health insurance clock runs out. When you have a 20-person deep roster at home, you got to do what you got to do before the 5-year clock is up post-playing. Now the clock resets.
That's pretty good there. To get 10 kids, a bunch of health care that comes in, literally grandfathered in on Phillip Rivers because he has so many children.
He was solid, dude. That was,
he was good.
Physically built solid. He had a touchdown pass, which is more than you can say for the Seahawks. The Seahawks won with only field goals. But for him to show up on a couple days' notice, clearly out of shape, haven't played in 5 years against what is reputed to be the league's toughest defense with the league's most brilliant defensive mind calling the plays. That was really impressive.
Everyone just running like a 6-yard out, and he throws it like as soon as he snaps it, just like lobs it, and it takes them like that. I love that.
So he puts them in position for the game-winning field goal. I mean, to show you, look, he hadn't played in forever, okay? It was 3rd and 7, and they still ran the ball so that they could attempt a 60-yard field goal to take the lead. That's how much they trusted him, in a big spot. But they make a 60-yard field goal to go ahead with under a minute to go. It was so cool. Like, he was going to win this game on the road in Seattle. I don't know what the fix is. I'm so tired of these NFL games where one team gets the ball back with 35, 40 seconds left, and it's just so easy to get into field goal range
at the end
with
of
that little time.
At the end of that
it's not
game,
dramatic.
What you had happening at the end of that game is the Colts run the ball to get into position for the 60-yard field goal. And then Seattle comes back and takes the lead with a 57-yard field goal. The field goal kickers have gotten too good.
Yep.
They're eliminating some of the drama from these things where the quarterback doesn't have to put together a game-winning drive. He just has to put together a game-winning throw.
And very low-key, I think the new touchback rule also helps. Those 5 yards make a difference when it comes to all those long field goals.
Maybe like under 2 minutes left, the touchback, I don't know, it's not at the 25,
It's ruining the sport. The longer field goals?
Yeah.
It's ruining the drama. It's not ruining the sport. The games are all so close that you can't ruin the sport. It is ruining the drama that you're speaking of because that particular game, it was 60-yard field goal, 57-yard field goal, and then Phillip Rivers, haunted from the beyond on the situation he's always in. I still got to go 70 yards, and I've got 11 seconds.
I can't believe we got it, though. It looked like we wouldn't get it, but Phillip Rivers down a score with 1 minute left. It was such great nostalgia. And then he hit the field goal, and then we saw Phillip Rivers on the sideline jawing at folks and being charged up. It was a great nostalgia trip.
I've actually heard Shane Gillis talk about how much he loved the Phillip Rivers interaction where Phillip Rivers 5 years ago had a touchdown at Jacksonville, and he just is running like a little kid next to the Jacksonville defensive lineman. He's like, 90-yard touchdown, 90-yard touchdown. And understandably, the Jacksonville defensive lineman goes to the referee and says, do you see how he's talking to me? And Phillip Rivers is like, what? I'm not allowed to be excited? I'm not allowed to be excited? And the Jacksonville defensive lineman is like, just don't do it near my ear. And he's like, I will do it near your ear. I will be excited near your ear. So yesterday, what ends up happening, though, is that Phillip Rivers gets you the game-winning drive. Then Seattle gets the ball back, and they have the game-winning drive. And I was denied my Phillip Rivers purgatory because he had timeouts and 11 seconds left.
I think they had all three.
They had all three, but he immediately just drops back, and the first time he's thrown it downfield, interception. because
I had that over interception that cashed.
Oh, you
on
have
that
to.
last play.
Kidding me? That's an interception waiting to happen. A 44-year-old guy who hadn't played in 6 years. Come on. The over-under on INT should have been 2.5.
this was a fun curiosity that ate up the 4 o'clock window. But can you give me some Fernando Mendoza sound from the Heisman ceremony?
This is not from the Heisman that I have. This is from him after the Big Ten championship.
All
I
right.
love this sound.
Give me some sound to just set up Mendoza before we go to Tony and what should have been a more Miami Heisman speech.
It sounds so beautiful. I want to give all the glory to God. We were never supposed to be in this position, but by the glory of God, the great coaches, great teammates, everyone we have around us, we were able to pull this off. Whoever thought the Hoosiers would be here, but now the Hoosiers are flipping champs. Let's go.
Flipping
champs.
Everybody said that that sounds the way Jeremy looks. At Le Batard Show, put it on the poll. Does an excited Fernando Mendoza sound the way that Jeremy looks? And let's go out now to Tony, who has totally prepared his Miami. There he is. We go to Tony right now in the Downtown Athletic Club. He is going to give us a more Miami speech than the one Mendoza gave us. Do you need anything from us over here, Tone?
No, Dan, I'm good. I'm ready to go. I'm just very thankful. I just wanted to get this off my chest really quick so we can wear it so you know exactly what it looks like when I have it around my neck here. Cuban roots, okay? So this is what I would have worn over the suit. I would have worn it just like this, kind of, just so people knew and I would have flashed it. So when you're ready, I'm ready to go, Dan. I got my speech written out. I'm very excited.
All right, let's do this now. This is Tony's Fernando Mendoza Heisman speech, if indeed it had been Maximum Miami.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. Wow. Primero que nada, gracias a Dios, bro, because without him, I'm not here. I'm probably stuck on the Palmetto trying to get to the airport, and we all know how that can be at rush hour. To my parents, gracias por todo. You taught me that if the AC is broken, you open the window. If the door is closed, you knock louder. Yeah. And if that doesn't work, you break that shit down.
Yes.
I want to thank Miami, not South Beach, not Wynwood, not tourist Miami. The real Miami. I'm talking about Miami Hurricanes tailgate parking lot football as a kid at the OB. Talking about Westchester dads yelling like they're Bill Belichick at Tamiami Park. I'm talking about Kendall rush hour traffic that builds character. You wonder how I learned toughness? I learned it from having to play dominoes against drunk deals on Nochebuena.
Yeah, it's
you know that they cheat, and you know they don't let you win, so you got to learn to be tough. I learned patience and discipline waiting for 45 minutes to go back into the pool because my abuela said that I could get una embolia if I swam too early after eating. I still don't know what that's supposed to mean. I guess it's some sort of mental thing. I don't know. Una embolia.
Is that an embolism?
An embolism, yes. An embolism if I swam too early after eating. To every Cuban-American kid watching right now, I want you to listen up, especially the ones trying to explain the rules of football to parents and grandparents who have no idea what they're looking at. To the kids that have to hear, ¿cuánto? When you tell your parents just how much your equipment costs. ¿Cuánto? Yes, I have to buy all of this. This is for you guys. They told us to be quieter, to be smaller, to be less Miami. They said we'll never play in college football, let alone in the NFL. But nah, that's not going to happen, baby. We're loud. We're late. We're Cuban, and we're not apologizing for it. So tonight, this Heisman isn't going in a trophy case. Dan, you know where it's going? It's going to La Carreta on Burn Road, Paso una Cazuela. Nice. Miami, esta para nosotros. Te amo, Miami! Let's go!
Congratulations. That was well done.
It was weird that Mendoza thanked his teammates in retrospect.
You think? I want to, in honor of Tony here, give you a top 5 plays from yesterday that no one's talking about. Number 5, because there are plenty to choose from here, and I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I don't know if you guys noticed how many plays yesterday were impossibly well done with a precision that's surprising, and yet no one cares because some of these games and moments weren't as important as some of the others. So you got in the Giants-Commanders game, you got Tracy with a touchdown, catching it on his back. He wasn't in any way open because Bobby Wagner had him covered the entirety of the field, and it was a touchdown anyway. I need the fans for that. Thank you. You've got in the Chargers game, I don't know if you guys saw all of the catches. Herbert to Harris, I don't know how that ball was not moved as he caught it. Calais Campbell blocking a field goal because he's still giant. Monteric Brown for Jacksonville had the single greatest interception I've ever seen. No one cares. Full body extension, caught it with the back of his elbow.
What a catch.
I know, nobody cares. No one will remember it. It's not something that anyone is going to end up paying attention to in any way. And then, of course, in Carolina, the late hit that resulted in the holy guacamole. You can't lose to the Saints in that spot for the division. And you saw Todd. Have you guys ever seen Todd Bowles when they lost to Atlanta curse like that?
That was nuts.
My God.
Yeah, we played it on Friday. It was crazy.
Wow.
While not being angry.
While he kept his same tone.
While making sure he blamed all of his players.
That was wild. But still alive. Still leading in the NFC South. Colby Parkinson's touchdown counting. That didn't make the list. What? We all have eyes. We all saw that. He was down a yard before.
That was the one where they reviewed, and Dean Blandino was like, I don't know.
I don't know what they're doing.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Also weird, Myles Garrett sacking that many people quietly because his team stinks and nobody cares about any of their games. He's the best pass rusher there's ever been. And what?
Better than LT.
I mean, he's doing single season sack stuff that no one's ever done. You can give it to if you want to give it to Reggie White or Lawrence Taylor, you're welcome to do it. But I'm willing to say that Myles Garrett is the most unblockable thing that there's been in the sport. And you can argue it if you want, but he's going to be in any short conversation that you're having about this.
An interesting question to me is, will he be cheated out of the Depoy Award because his team is so awful?
Can you give me the sound again of Todd Bowles cursing while not actually angry?
What do you tell them in the locker room after a game like this?
It's inexcusable. You don't make excuses. You gotta care enough where the hurts. You gotta care enough where the hurts. It gotta mean something to you. It's more than a job. It's your livelihood. How well do you know your job? How well can you do your job? Well, you can't sugarcoat that. It was inexcusable, and there's no answer for it. There's no excuse for it. That's what you tell them in the locker room. Look in the mirror.
Still shocking. Greg, to your point about Myles Garrett being punished for being on a bad team, it is precedent from a long time ago, but Cortez Kennedy won Depoy going 2-14 with the Seahawks and was even named AP MVP that season.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Maybe there is precedent, but I'm honestly wondering about that. Like, who are the Depoy candidates? That's always a tougher award to pinpoint than the offensive.
Jeremy, can you please give me the origins of A Little Birdie Told Me?
So some date back to William Shakespeare, some date back to Greek mythology where they have Odin's raven, but this can be traced back all the way to the Bible. Ecclesiastes, the original Hebrew version, which says, "Curse not the king, no, not in thy thought, and curse not the rich in thy bedchamber. For a bird of the air shall carry the voice, and that which hath wings shall tell the matter."
Anyway, God bless you, babe, and enjoy Chinooka.
Changed. I mean, seriously, get over yourself. We're
Chris
going
said
to
it.
talk during the post game. Tim Reynolds, enough. I mean, enough.
I mean,
seriously.
you just got to know when
You're
the
not
Dan
allowed to cheer in the press box. Did you know that?
Well, I did.
They were cheering for Will Manso. I think that's allowed.
And Goldie.
If the Dan Le Batard Show comes to a hockey press box, hilarity is going to ensue.
Yeah.
They're going to yell at Will Manso for 7 minutes, and you're probably going to have to go to a
7
stairwell
seconds.
to write, man. It's
if it was 7 minutes, I'd get it. It was
is what
7
it is.
seconds.
Exactly. I mean, David, everyone else was saying hi. They were enjoying the show. They were laughing at us. But one guy is still clutching on to his newspaper deadline.
I'm a little
and it's
disappointed.
Tim Reynolds.
And is he your demographics too?
I don't know.
I happen to like Tim a lot, and I imagine this was going to be like E.J. Raddick or something, but that's just a bad look for Tim Reynolds.
Listen, I went up to him afterwards.
This was the best part. Stugotz
Yes.
is like, I've known Tim for years. I'm going to go
Yeah.
fix this. He walked to Tim and walked right back very quickly.
Yep.
It was a very quick interaction.
Well, he was writing. Okay?
He's on deadline. It's
Enough of the deadline.
It's a
We're on deadline. I gotta get home. I feel like playoff hockey. I gotta get home. I mean,
Yeah, we're on deadline too. We got to get that post game out.
It is a working press box. Tim Reynolds is a journalist who's trying to write, and Stugotz is back there. Hey, Will Mancha!
That was Chris and Goldie. Don't leave out Goldie.
We're on deadline, too. They're going to kick us out of that press box a lot sooner than they'll kick out Tim Reynolds, who's just typing away. That's just
Those writers had their game stories done before the end of the
Precisely.
Yeah, a good writer, right.
Oh,
what happened there? I apologize to him. I've known Tim for decades. I mean, Cody was done. He was out of there. I mean, you know.
What was that interaction like, Stugotz? Take us behind the scenes. You walk up to him, you say what, he says what?
I said, Tim, I apologize. That's on me. I should know better. Not Chris, okay? I should know better. I've been in press boxes before. I know you have a deadline. I apologize. And he said, that's fine. Just, try to keep it down.
That is way too long.
That was
way
much longer than the actual conversation.
I always extend it a little bit. I mean, you guys
can we
know that.
call Tim Reynolds and just ask him about what the interaction was like?
No.
Greg Cody's back in my day. Seeds.
Seeds. Seeds. Had a slice of watermelon lately? Popped a few grapes in your maw? Then you probably notice seeds are disappearing from fruit. And you probably see this as a good thing just because it makes life a little easier. We love us some convenience. In fact, it's a terrible thing, the de-seeding of us. Symbolically alone, the seed is the king of life. Adam gave his to Eve, and here we are, if you believe the story. If they take the seed out of humans the way we have watermelons, we're all dead ducks. Beans, peas, rice, coffee, corn, all seeds. Flour and oil started as seeds. All hail seeds. So what the hell is happening? In exchange for convenience, we are not valuing the seed's impact on health, biodiversity, and our food system. The genetic variability of most plants require seeds as essential to their evolution. De-seeded, artificially homogenized fruits rely on human intervention in the reproductive process, exposing the fruits to many pathogens. Plainly put, seedless fruits are not as good for you. They contain less fiber and have fewer minerals and vitamins than their seeded natural brethren. Seedless fruits also have fewer antioxidants, plant-based nutrients, and anti-inflammatory properties. But enough about this science. Bring back seeds because seeds are fun. Not to mention aesthetically and visually pleasing. Kids growing up today have sliced open a watermelon, have never sliced open a watermelon, and experienced the joy of seeing that juicy red flesh dotted with embedded black seeds. Nellie Doogie used to tell us if we swallowed a watermelon seed, a big melon would grow on our belly. It wasn't true. But as kids, we'd make a competition out of seed spitting. You extracted the big seeds from the melon flesh. Tongue only, never fingers or a utensil, and you'd see who could project a seed the farthest. Every summer we did that. This was before video games, kids. Made our own games and toys. Flew a kite, kicked a can, spit a seed. Grapes were the real challenge because the seeds were so much smaller. We'd both pop a grape in our mouth, tongue moving, jaws in action, and whoever could spit out 3 seeds onto the table the fastest won. To this day, I carve real pumpkins and eschew the free-fab foam and plastic fakes, mainly for the treasure trove of seeds inside. Hundreds and hundreds of them waiting to be scraped out, cleaned, and roasted in the oven to become delicious natural snacks. Respect, worship, and bring back the seeds. I need a t-shirt that says convenience is overrated. Insist to your local grocer that you'll take your watermelon seeded, please, and the grapes too. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
Yep.
Journalism is dead.
But journalism, as we know it, as you know it, what you wanted to do when you were a little kid, okay? It has changed. It has. It's changed, okay? You're not wrong. Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. You have to adapt sometimes, okay? Because the game has changed. Your priorities have shifted. No one cares how someone goes and gets the news that they get as long as the news is accurate, as long as it's coming from a credible place. If it's Woj, if it's Adam Schefter, if it's you, if it's Diana Rossini, if it's Shams, nobody cares. You might care. Greg Cody might care. Stephen A. Smith might care. But you know what? You all sold out. Every single one of you, okay? Stephen A. Smith jumped inside the circus tent. I don't blame him. Why'd he do it? Because he had to do it. Because the game has changed. you jumped inside the circus tent. You did. You did so with me. Think about that. With me and with Greg Cody every Tuesday, okay? And so you have ditched journalism a long, long time ago because why? Survival of the fittest, Dan. You have to change with the times. You have to roll with a changing environment, roll with a changing industry, and that's what you decided to do. That's what Stephen A. decided to do. And for Woj, for guys like him, the game has changed slightly, where he went out and he seeked reports, and he wanted to be the reporter. And you know what? If now he has morphed into a mouthpiece for the Blazers, I'm okay with it.
Welcome to another episode of Insights to Mediocrity. I'm Jeremy Taché here with our expert, our superstar, Tony Kaladiu.
Good to be here, Jeremy.
Tony, tell me, Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
Why?
Better shoes.
It's a great answer.
People got to talk about championships. People talk about points. LeBron's got more points. Jordan's got more championships, defensive, this, that. Who's got a bigger impact on the culture? And LeBron has come out with some nice shoes. I've worn them. I've bought them. I have them, right? But the impact globally for the culture that Jordan has made from the shoe perspective, I think outweighs anything that LeBron could do on the court, off the court. I think like just that cements Jordan as the GOAT.
What motivates 10-Day Tony?
The next thing. The next thing. Like, yeah, we're here. We're doing this thing. You know what motivates me? The next thing. Like, what are we doing now? We're doing this conversation. What am I going to do next? That's what motivates me to get to that point. Like, we're going to be done with this. This will be filmed off somewhere. Somebody will edit it. They'll put it out on the show. They'll do whatever. What does that do? What does that do? Tell me.
It's the next challenge for
It's
you
the next
always.
thing. It's the next thing. I don't even know what the next thing is, but that's what motivates me. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to find it, and I'm going to do it. It was, hey, I shoot righty. And, yeah, I'm right-handed. I've shoot righty all my life. Okay, perfect. What if I shoot lefty? What if I shoot lefty in the game? What if I shoot lefty falling away out of bounds? What if people are upset that I'm shooting lefty? Will I continue? Will I not? I do. That's the next challenge. So for me, what motivates me? Next.
Needs to be shorter. Those are insights into mediocrity. I want to ask before we get to John Cena and Zaslow traveling to go see him submit for the first time in his career.
Gave up.
Historically,
First
gave
time
up.
in 20 years.
First time.
Nerds.
Loser.
We'll get to that in a second. But I wanted to ask you guys, and I'm going to set this up a certain way. I wanted to ask you something related to Marcus Freeman and ask you if you've heard anyone else say what I'm about to say about Marcus Freeman. But before I do that, I want to play for you guys some sound of Coach O. Coach O is going through the rubble of what's happened at LSU, and Coach O is telling you that Brian Kelly never fit there. I want to hear this sound from Bussin' with the Boys.
And Brian Kelly didn't feel like the personality to handle that. Were you like? What was your thought process?
First of all, we made a mutual decision. They fired me. We made a mutual decision, but I wanted to coach this team to the end, and I'm not leaving this team. I was ready to go. Because it was enough, you know. And when they named him, he was a big-time hire and stuff like that, but I wondered how well he would relate, like you said. Louisiana's a different place, man. People think different. Players are raised different. People are raised different in the South. You got to be a personable person. You got to go in there and love them. It ain't so much about the X's and the O's and stuff. Again, by getting them to play and, you know, hey, taking care of them and making sure they understand that. He didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to do that in Notre Dame.
Right.
Or if he did it, I don't know. But when he came out and said family and like that.
It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family.
It just wasn't a good fit.
Yeah.
Is he a great coach? Yes, he is.
He did it at Notre Dame for a long time.
So before I get to Marcus Freeman, I want to ask you guys there. Do you guys hear Coach O saying there, I won because I connected with the players. Brian Kelly didn't win because he didn't connect with the players. It sort of ignores that Coach O had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and that's not exactly what Brian Kelly had. But you hear Coach O saying there, the way I did it was the right way to do it. The way Brian Kelly did it, he never connected, right?
Yeah, but it could be both. Like it is, yeah, he had the good players, but also, that's someone who didn't, because he's not the only one who's alluded to that. Brian Kelly was never someone who loved LSU, and Saban loved LSU, Les Miles loved LSU, Ed Orgeron clearly loved LSU, and you never got that impression that Brian Kelly loved LSU.
You take a look at the 2019 team: Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was a first-round pick, Grant Delpit, who's been good in the league, Derek Stingley Jr. was a freshman on that team in 2019, ended up being a top 3 pick, Patrick Queen, Christian Fulton, K'Lavon Chaisson, Jacob Phillips, Lloyd Cushenberry. Like, you're talking about NFL multi-year starters, some Pro Bowlers, some great players.
And it's not like he showed up and these guys were on the roster, to his original point. He developed those relationships. He had to talk a former Mr. Ohio into picking LSU and leaving Ohio State. Like, he secured that talent.
That is the best roster that I've ever seen a college football team have, and he was gone very quickly after that.
Easy.
I'd say better than the University of
Miami.
Miami.
That defense, like, I know that there's some NFL names on that defense.
Hold on,
that defense was not that good for a
Tony,
championship.
I need name for name.
Justin
I want roster comparison, name for name, Tony.
Joe Burrow's better than any quarterback Miami's ever had.
That's fine.
Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are better than any receiver except Michael Irvin.
Oh, okay. I mean, the receivers on that team were pretty freaking good.
Agreed.
Ever heard of Andre Johnson, Dan? He's got a gold jacket.
Freaking good.
Not Jamar Chase.
You know about that Reggie Wayne?
Not Justin Jefferson.
Right. Jim. And the defense, it's no question who's better.
You know about that Jeremy Shockey?
You can make whatever arguments you want debatable. I will go from there, though, to tell you that the reason Marcus Freeman is so coveted right now is simply because he surprised us by inheriting what it is that Brian Kelly gave him and keeping it in the same place. But the thing I wanted to ask all of you, in wondering what's presently happening around Marcus Freeman.
The LSU 2019 team had 7 first-round picks, which is great. Miami of 2001 had 17.
What?
Those are as followed: Ed Reed, Andre Johnson, Frank Gore, Clinton Portis, Jeremy Shockey, Vince Wilfork, Sean Taylor, rest in peace, Reggie Wayne, Jonathan Vilma, Antrell Roll, Phillip Buchanan, DJ Williams, Mike Rumpf, Willis McGahee, Brian McKinney, Vernon Carey, William Joseph.
17?
Look, I'm just going to say it. Owen Canes would kick the shit out of him.
Dan, you need to apologize.
We tell Clyde Edwards-Helaire, this isn't a good place for you. You don't fit.
Yeah, time to walk it back, Jack.
It might be. I'm going to have to look at it a second because that LSU offense was better than any I saw Miami ever had, but maybe I'm wrong on the
different
defense.
eras.
The thing that I wanted to say to you about Marcus Freeman, though, to wonder whether or not anyone is doing what I'm about to say. I know Notre Dame is mad about what just happened, and I know that Notre Dame has every reason to be mad about what just happened. But if you're Marcus Freeman's agent, it's the best thing that could have possibly happened to your client, because now you don't actually have to prove that you're better than all these other teams. You can just say you were and you were wronged, and now you can get any job that you want. For Marcus Freeman's agent, there is nothing short of winning the championship that would have been better than the position that he presently finds himself in, which is all he had to do is the same thing Brian Kelly did. And he did that. And now at a ridiculously young age, he can have any job he wants without it being disproven against the best teams in the sport.
But how much of a factor did getting to the national championship last year play in that? Like, you think that if this didn't happen and he got to the playoffs and he lost in the first round, stock would have taken a dip?
No, what I'm saying is the result of him not having to do anything other than say we were wronged is the best possible move that his agent would have wanted if I gave him all the moves short of winning the championship. That finishing second this year wouldn't have made him as coveted as what this makes him right now, where right now he can have any job that he wants, and what he's coming off of is there are no stains. You didn't beat anybody this year. You lost the 2 big games you had, but you can have any job in the sport that you presently want, I can't believe that the agent could have much better situations than that.
Well, and maybe also because he's available now to go talk to other people about jobs. Like last year, apparently he was really close to going to the NFL, but he refused to talk to people, and they played until the end of January. Well, now we're at the beginning of December, and like he's available.
I mean, he's super coveted no matter what. Like if they make the playoffs and then lose in the first game, he's still a coveted coach.
I think so.
But less coveted.
Is he?
Yes, yes, less coveted than he is right now. Yes. Right now, right, Mike, you can tell us. You've been in the thick
I've been reporting this one.
So he could have any job, correct?
Yeah, there's plenty of teams that are presently in the NFL playoff mix that are talking about having Marcus Freeman as their head coach.
Dolphins should hire
jobs that are not open. He can literally have his pick. There are entire divisions that want Marcus Freeman to be their next head coach.
Name that division.
I'm not going to do that. They have coaches. They have jobs. They have families. But Marcus Freeman can legitimately call his shot. And by the way, if you're calling your shot, the one that he's presently most linked to is a New York Giants job. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong.
This guy has too much.
That's a pretty good job.
Good looking, can get any job he wants. I mean, too much for Marcus Freeman.
Giants, if you were to pick a job with that D-line, with Neighbors, with the quarterback in Dart, we'll see where Scadaboo is, with ownership, that's not a bad job to market if you were to pick them. But there are teams that are closer to Super Bowl ready that want him too. He absolutely, if he returns to Notre Dame, it'll be for both one of the top 3 salaries in the sport and because he genuinely loves Notre Dame. And he does. He loves
Does
South
he
Bend,
genuinely
Indiana.
love Notre
Yes.
Dame if we're going to do this every year where he may leave for the NFL?
He may, dude, his stock will never be higher, I don't think.
I know, but if he genuinely loves Notre Dame, you don't leave Notre Dame.
Yeah, but you have leverage, though. Like, that's the whole game. Like, I may go to the Giants. I may go here. I may go there. Oh, Notre Dame, you're going to give me more money? Perfect. I love
So
it.
you believe he'll never leave then for an NFL job?
If he doesn't leave this year, I don't know if he ever will. He's still a young man, but I don't know if his stock is never going to be higher. I don't see it ever being higher, and his agent may say, like, your quarterback could tear his ACL next year, and you won't have these opportunities. Like, these opportunities don't present themselves that often, where every NFL team, we're talking blue blood franchises, want you as their head man. You could always go back to the college game if you flame out in the NFL. You will always be a top candidate in the college ranks if you flame out in the NFL.
Does he have any flaws? I mean, someone tell me a flaw Marcus Freeman has.
Hairline might be receding.
Oh, does he?
Loses
Maybe
to
a
bad
little bit.
teams often.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Northern Illinois is
September.
a flaw.
Marshall. Northern Illinois. September football.
Other than bad losses, no flaws.
Let's examine just for a quick second, though, the hypothetical of just how his agent is thinking as someone who gets 5 to 10% of everything. As Notre Dame is wronged, he's the one guy who's looking at everything and saying, this is totally good. We have time to interview. He can go and be just model-esque, wandering around as spokesman and face for a team. He can look great, and there will be nothing that happens on the field that will affect this. There's nothing that will affect this the rest of the way. We've got months of Marcus Freeman just being glorious because he's never going to lose because he doesn't actually have to play in any of the games.
Marcus Freeman doesn't even actually say to himself, I'm going to make more money off this. Like just the agent says, okay, good. I'm going to make more money now. Because Notre Dame and my client were left out of the college football playoffs. Me, agent guy, I'm going to make money.
I know he loves Notre Dame. We mentioned that already, but I've also heard he wants to be in the pros. If everything was there and laid out in front of him and it was a good situation, he'd leave for that. And now we're finally starting to see it. Adam Schefter said he's going to be the Ben Johnson of this cycle. Diana Rossini reported the Giants' level of interest. I've been telling you for months this day was coming. And basically all that needs to happen is Marcus Freeman telling his agent exactly where he wants to go.
And nobody blames him if he goes to the NFL because that's considered a step up no matter how much you love college football. Whereas if he goes
You don't
to
think Notre Dame fans would be upset?
If he could go to Michigan.
No, I disagree. I think if he goes to the NFL, South Bend goes, you know what? I see why he made that move.
You guys do
If he goes to another college, South Bend hates him all
You guys do understand, though, right, that if he played a game and lost by 20 to Lane Kiffin, it wouldn't be what it is now?
I disagree.
I disagree.
I don't agree with that
I disagree.
either.
Like, he's got a track record there.
He got to the national championship last year.
I don't think a playoff loss, especially since he made it to with an injured team, he made it all the way to the championship game last year. I don't think it gets if he loses to Miami again in the CFP, I don't see his stock.
And you see the way he fills out that shirt?
I'm doing degrees, though. I'm doing degrees. This is as unblemished as it can be. You never actually have to prove it.
No.
He's the most coveted, and you didn't win a championship, and you may not win a championship, and you don't have to prove you're
I know
gonna
you're
win
like a dog with a bone on this one. 0% change in that. They've been talking about Marcus Freeman and these jobs for weeks on end.
But it is interesting what you're saying because you go back and consider all the hullabaloo around Lane Kiffin. Marcus Freeman got to the college football national championship game last year. Lane Kiffin has never been in the playoffs.
How'd it go for you this weekend? You fly out to see John Cena. You fly out to see something that you expected to be what? And how close did it come to meeting your expectations?
Okay, first of all, we had a great time because we were at the center of what was a pop culture phenomenon over the weekend. And it was a wild scene before the show started outside. They had a whole fan fest kind of deal. They had their live studio broadcasting right outside Capitol Arena. That was a whole scene. And we were so charged up and so excited. The crowd was so into it. I mean, Cena comes out for his entrance. It's his final entrance ever. The whole crowd is singing his entrance song. It was wild. Let's go Cena! We were into it.
What was your reaction to the finish? The spoiler
you
alert.
cried. You cried, didn't you?
Spoiler alert.
Don't ever accuse me of crying.
You were a sucker crying.
I never cry. Look at his face right here.
What's wrong with crying?
A lot of people on the internet seem to be a little underwhelmed. Spoiler alert, if you for some reason are going to watch this later.
Oh, please.
He just kind of is choked out and just gives a smirk and then a tap.
I had my hands on my head like this when he tapped out. I was shook. I was. Even though I knew he was going to lose, I was holding out hope that he was going to win. I really wanted him to win. I wanted the big celebration and the big pop and everybody to be so excited. Dan, the crowd wanted him to win so bad. But that doesn't happen in pro wrestling when the great guy retires. You always lose.
Okay, I'm a pro wrestling agnostic, so I have the vision.
So that means you don't believe in pro wrestling?
I have the agnostic means an atheist means I don't believe in it.
Okay.
An agnostic means I'm not a huge fan. I'm the most.
You know it
casual
exists,
of
but you don't
followers.
care.
I don't particularly care. But here's the thing, and only I can say this. What happens is, after an appropriate amount of time retired, 4 months, 5 months, John Cena comes back.
Yeah.
It's a big comeback.
Right.
Not if he wins that. If he wins, he goes out on top. The script is, he loses, he makes a big comeback, big dramatic comeback. Over the summer, perhaps. Biggest thing in wrestling.
Normally, when a all-time great wrestler retires, they all say they're retiring or it's their final match, retirement match, and a few years later, they always come back. That is not going to be the case here.
Why do you think not?
Because a couple of reasons. Number one, his whole deal, all right, is like he's this really super clean-cut guy and like honesty and loyalty and respect. That's a really big thing. It would literally be lying to everybody for an entire year because it's been a year-long tour. You'd be lying to everyone for an entire year. People spent a ton of money to come see you on all these dates throughout the year, not to mention how expensive the final date was.
Zaz, an alleged adult, got on an airplane to go see this. Let's listen to a fan. I'm assuming this is a child.
Oh, my God. This is right after the match, Dan.
This is actually Zaz.
Is a giant toddler. Let's listen to Zaz crashing out during the match.
You tell me. What are you going to do? You tell me. F you. You can stop. No one likes you. That's not true. You know what? You just came up to nowhere. Everyone hates you. Take my hat. I dare you. I dare you. I'm civilized. I dare you.
Take my hat, I dare you.
The crowd was chanting F you. The crowd. Heavy boos at the end of the match. Crowd was really angry.
Is that like a John Cena line? Take my hat, I dare you? Like, where'd that come from?
He was trying to make a moment. They did the right thing for the business. They made Gunther like this big, huge heel. But I thought the show was a laborious watch. I can't even imagine having to be there. I'm sure you were getting
No,
antsy
it was
for 2
great
hours.
being there. No. And the drinks were flowing. It was great. It was great being there.
Well, you're there. You got to see the moment, and booing is part of the experience. That's all funny. The people are really upset at Triple H for booking it that way. But for me, on the whole, they made a big deal of this retirement tour.
Right.
They botched it.
I understand people
botched
being
it with
upset.
him.
I do. I
No,
understand people being upset.
I'm not saying the ending. The ending is perfect. The way that the match unfolded, like that's
I
all
agree.
fine and dandy.
I
The
agree.
business end of this, the failed heel run at the WrestleMania for his last WrestleMania, it was too TKO-y for me, and it felt like they just botched it.
So, Greg, part of the reason, or the major part of the reason that the great wrestler loses in the final match, because you're supposed to give back. You're supposed to give it to the guy who beats you.
Yeah.
And so as a result, Gunther is now a monster heel. Do you know what heel is?
Gunther Volkswagen.
Do you know what Gunther is?
No.
Do you know
He's
what
right
heel
about
is?
that.
That's a bad guy, all right? So now Gunther is a monster heel. So check this out. We have video of this, all right, where Gunther, he has to be escorted to his bus after the match because look at the people. They're crowding him. They're chanting, "Fuck you, Gunther." They're so angry. Look, they're following him. Like they're going to attack him. The people are going to attack Gunther as he's walking
This
to
is
his
good
bus.
for Gunther, though, right? This is good for him.
Oh, it's amazing for Gunther.
I'm looking at Greg Cody, though, and he is barely concealing his disdain for your enthusiasm for this as an adult.
Okay, first of all, people are going like this. What are they doing? They're marking my words. They're marking my words. It's only a matter of time before he makes his big comeback. And what I imagine, and I'm talking about all those people chasing him to his bus.
Maniacs.
Do those people not know the whole thing is scripted? Like, what is the attitude of a fan blaming Gunther?
They don't care. They want to be happy, and their happy ending was their guy to win.
I feel your disdain, and I just would like it articulated because I see you like bemused by Zaslow.
You think it's strange that I loved it, that I'm so invested in it?
Of course.
That he would fly.
Ridiculous.
That he would fly to go see it.
Yes, spend actual money to go see something that isn't actual.
Right before the show started, you could have sat ringside $11,000, Greg.
Okay. How about I give that money to charity instead of somebody else can go instead of me because I would pay $11,000
charity
not to be there.
It's like watching a play.
I mean, you put on a gala for a family pick'ems.
That's a good shout right there from Chris.
It's a real league. I mean, it's a
It's
league.
literally a fantasy.
No, it isn't.
It's a fantasy
The league's
league.
been in existence since the late '60s.
It's real to you, damn it.
Look, you look
more than real.
Look, there are millions of people just like you who will frown on me for traveling and going to this kind of show. But I was at, like I said, what was a pop culture phenomena on Saturday nights. Only 20,000 people in the world were there. I was one of those 20,000 people. Everyone was talking about it. That shit was fun. Didn't get the ending that I wanted, of course, but that was a fun night.
Okay. Well, good for you. I mean, and your analogy, Mike, about liking it to a play, I get that. You know, it's suspended belief. But is it suspended belief, though, when those people
Well, those people are maniacs.
Okay.
Like, was I one of those people? Was I booing at the end of the night? No, because I'm not a maniac.
you said you had your head on.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. You were crying.
You were disappointed.
I'm not crying. You gotta stop saying I was
you were crying.
Right, but
You
that
gotta
happens-
stop saying I was
That
crying.
I
happens
think he
with-
cried.
That happens with scripted content all the time. When there's a really unpopular death in The
Yeah, when you
Walking
watch
Dead,
Game
it
of
almost
Thrones-
nukes the show.
Red Wedding, Game of Thrones. You weren't shook watching Red Wedding?
The thing that is different about wrestling than anything else in the history of, let's just say, ESPN.com is the scripted play never ends up as the fourth headline on ESPN.com between Mahomes out with an
See what happened in Hamilton?
Mahomes out with a knee injury, Micah Parsons out for the season, Cena submits for the first time ever in scripted content that was written by writers.
I was singing his theme when he came out. I was charged up, man. I was into it.
I just
Me and
can't
my
believe
son
when
were
they're
into
like
it.
going through all the possible endings to that match.
Tom
They're
is
like,
up. My
you know how
Tom
it's
is
going to
now."
end? A smirk and a tap.
And why is that, though? Because they're thinking down the road. Am I the only one here who would bet on Cena coming out of retirement?
Let's do it.
You don't think
you would bet on it? I will bet on that too with you. I will take the other side.
Okay.
Greg Cody is taking both the ignorant and stubborn position of usually these guys do come back, but what he's saying is Cena's one of the few in the history of the sport. Even Hulk Hogan had a heel turn, but this guy's entire premise is I'm all-American moral integrity guy.
Funny. So
Why is
wait a
that
minute.
funny? Why are you questioning
Wait a
John
minute.
Cena's integrity?
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. I'm taking the ignorant point of view, whereas the people chasing that guy to the bus angry that he followed the script.
You're just
those people aren't ignorant. I'm the ignorant one.
There could be multiple ignorant people here, but you're being ignorant because you are not. You're just basically using your viewpoint on old rock acts, old acts of all kind. They all come back.
Yeah.
It would be surprising if this one came back because the entire construct, he's Olympic hero guy. He's guy who represents America.
That's Kurt Angle.
That's Kurt Angle.
He would, if he comes back, he literally would have scammed paying customers.
Oh, wow. Like, that's never happened.
Yeah.
Like Mike Tyson coming back at age 56 is not scamming paying customers.
Gotta side with Greg,
You're
though.
saying Tyson and John Cena are same integrity?
I gotta side with Greg. If he's coming back, it's not like the fans are gonna be pissed off that and felt lied to. They're gonna be thrilled to see him back.
Exactly.
He put his sneakers on a Riyadh season logo. Let's be real
Hello.
here. We all thought HBK was done. HBK came back for
So
that
you
Saudi
would bet
money.
the way that Greg Cody does, you would bet that he will indeed come back?
Guys, he left his shoes in the ring. Isn't that a thing?
Yeah, but people pick them up all the time.
Right.
They come back after that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it has happened.
I'm more inclined to believe what Zaz is saying, but
'Cause
him
I'm right.
him coming back would not surprise me because there have been plenty of people that said they would never do that.
Right, of course.
He was an ultimate Vince guy, though, so I just don't know how much he fits in
He
this
ain't-
incarnation of WWE.
He ain't going out on the bottom, this guy. He's not going out with a loss, trust me.
They all go out on a loss.
Literally what happens
Not
in
this
wrestling.
guy.
Not Taker.
No. This guy, for reasons you mentioned, pristine reputation, that guy goes out with a W.
Hello.
Exactly.
A couple of teams in the AFC that I believe are not being talked about enough because we
segue.
spend so much time talking about the quarterbacks in that sport.
He's so proud of himself. Look at him.
Just getting in my way and offering
The
something
joke would have been
obvious.
transition.
Yeah. Like
Same
that's
thing.
But the joke that the show makes is transition.
Yeah, segue. Fancier word. Hop on it, right down the sidewalk.
In
on a
Greg's
segue.
defense, he is a writer still, and segue is a stronger word
Thank you.
than
Thank you.
transition.
It really is. It's got a French flair to it. Go on. What were you saying? Something about non-quarterbacks. We all want to talk about the NFL, but not talk about quarterbacks. Start with a guard. Start with a backup safety. Who did you have in mind? Go on, Dan. It's your show.
The two teams that I was going to talk about that will excite no one when it comes to advancing. What are you laughing?
Are you sure
about?
nobody? I'm excited already.
What are you laughing? What are you laughing about?
You're teasing what you're about to say by saying the two teams I'm about to talk about that no one will be interested in.
The reason I'm saying it is because if they get to the Super Bowl, people are going to be mad. The defense is what got to the Super Bowl. It's Houston and the Chargers.
Yes.
Houston and the Chargers getting to the Super Bowl will be unappetizing to everyone who's listening to this because it's great defense that's getting you there. And at the end of yesterday's Chiefs-Chargers game, did you guys see? So Tony Jefferson is a lifelong nomad. He's played for 10 years in the league. He's had 4 interceptions before this year. He's got 4 interceptions this year. He's been a healthy scratch 3 times this season, but still is just crushing people, like physically, is somebody who is hitting everybody, and he's got 4 interceptions. And then he gets ejected from yesterday's game late because he's doing obscene gesture. I didn't see the obscene gesture, but there's only one he can be doing, right? It's only middle fingers. It's Pavia in the club in New York. When I say obscene gesture, is there a second? You guys aren't doing any of the other obscene gestures except for middle finger, right? Because I'm reading the story. I haven't seen the video. And when it says obscene gesture, all I've got is middle finger. There's no other gesture you're getting ejected for,
Dan,
correct?
the obscene gesture that he did was a palo que dio a Tyquan Thornton because that was un palo.
Yeah, it was a legal hit, and Harbaugh said after the game, all I've seen is good football out there from that guy.
Preach.
Because he just crushes people. Chris Cody is doing what? Who invented this gesture? The running the back of your hand against the bottom
Marlon
of your
Brando.
chin as a gesture. I thought it was the Italians. I thought that
Kind of like bleep off, right? That's how I.
Brando's was more of like a scratch than like the full way. You know what I mean?
I wasn't offering up a sincere guess.
When you say something, I think you're doing a thing.
I'd like somebody, though. I like a referee having to make a decision as a guy does this going off of the field. Is that obscene enough to eject a football player?
You get the face mask in the way, too, so you can't really go the full way.
You're doing it the Italian way. I like to do it the Michael Jackson way.
Plus, what if the obscene gesture isn't a full bird? It's just like a half knuckle.
That's not obscene.
It's not a bird.
Isn't it?
That's not obscene.
I got to see a nail or else it's
Do you
not
ever
a bird.
do it when, like, you have the other fingers bent?
How about if I go like this?
You know, like
Yeah,
that.
wing,
Like this, Zaz.
Wing. That's how,
Zaz.
yes, we, kickstands.
Yeah,
Kickstands.
I used to do that when I
don't know.
Why are your fingers so weird?
What?
Yeah, what? You can't put your fingers out like that in the middle finger? What?
Great fingers.
It looked like you were trying
Yeah.
to do it like hard and it wasn't
You
working.
can't do the West Coast?
Can you do that
Of
again?
course I can do West Coast.
Can you do
Look at
Vader
this.
time?
Don't
Can
do
you do the
that.
Vader
Can you do
time?
Spock?
Vader time.
Can you do this? That's Spock.
Jeremy,
Can't see
look up for me. Bud Adams, I believe at the time he was the owner of the Oilers. He was wearing a blue leisure suit, and he got fined for middle fingers that I believe he did old man style, no kickstands, just straight up 2 middle fingers to the crowd with no kickstands. I need
no kickstand.
The thumbs were tucked in, huh?
It was just 2 middle fingers flying. They were flying naked. They had no support. For
He's right.
anyone. It was just old man shit, and it was a blue leisure suit.
And with championship rings on each ring finger.
Ooh, that's boss right there.
There is no other obscene gesture, though, right? If I do one hand
You could
across,
grab the package. That's an obscene gesture.
We can find a few.
Yeah, like one of these right here.
the grabbing of the package is an obscene gesture. I don't think that one gets him ejected. Do you think
I love
that
how
one?
afraid
Do you
we
think
all
that
are.
one gets him ejected? Do
I
you
don't
think
think anybody does that anymore.
That too, right?
Do you think that gets someone
I think if
ejected?
Bud Adams were doing this to the crowd.
Okay, so that for the audio audience is just basically slapping below your bicep to kick up the other arm halfway. It's not a middle finger. It's just basically I'm doing my whole forearm as a middle
I
finger.
mean, it wants to be
you.
a middle finger. That's what that's birthed from.
You can also do the wanker. That's more of an insult in Europe.
How you do that?
I'm not going to do that.
This was 2009. He was fined $250,000. He was 86 years old when he did this.
So 125 a bird.
I think middle finger's the only obscene gesture.
What about
first
this?
ballot, a Hall of Famer.
Nanny boo boo.
Yeah, what about a nanny boo boo?
You put like the moose antlers. Like, yeah, that.
It's the same family of garbage. There's only one first ballot obscene gesture Hall of Famer, right? First ballot. Grabbing the package is not first ballot.
No, grabbing the package.
First ballot?
No.
Joe Mauer.
Who are you giving obscene gesture first ballot status other than the middle finger?
What I grew up calling the bird.
That's it.
That's it.
So
Hall of
it's not
Fame.
even a Hall of Fame. It's not really actually an entire museum. It's basically just one exhibit. It's Bud Adams' middle finger, no kickstand. That's
Right.
the only thing in that Hall of Fame.
It's called the Bird Hall of Fame. Okay, the bird is the word, and then
This is very myopic. You guys have clearly never seen Liam Gallagher enter or exit a room.
I want to segue again here to an accusation against Zaslow. I read Awful Announcing did a list of the best and worst local NFL announcers. Well, you laugh. Here's the accusation. You be careful because the accusation's headed your way. I believe that Zaslow voted on this and was quoted in this article disparaging the Miami Dolphins local broadcasting team, making them rank last among all NFL broadcasters.
How could I have made them rank last?
I think that I saw some quotes in there that read like things I've heard you say.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're ranked last. Yes, they were ranked 32nd on Awful Announcing's local broadcasts for the NFL. And you're telling me whoever, a broadcaster was ranked dead last, I would be the only one who would say certain things?
Not you're the only one, but they had 93 votes, 16 Ds as a grade, 17 Fs, and I believe you were one of the Fs, and I believe you were quoted in the article. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm going to tell you I'm not copping to that at all. I'm not going to confirm or deny.
Awkward denial.
I mean, I don't know. There's no proof.
It's good.
There's no proof of that.
It sounded a lot like you. And
What sounded like me? Which
I'm
part sounded like me? What
dangerously
did it say?
close to going happen to know on this.
What did it say? What did
quote,
it say?
What was the quote?
What did it say? Yeah, what'd it say? What'd it say?
I want to know the quote.
I mean,
probably damning.
If you put a vote in front of me right now, vote on the Dolphins broadcast, A, B, C, D, or F, I'm obviously giving it an F. I mean, yeah, obviously. And clearly I was not the only one. It was ranked last. A lot of people gave it F.
So you are admitting you gave it an F.
Oh, no, I'm not admitting to anything. I'm saying if you ask me if you ask me right now, what would my vote be? Yeah, I'd give him an F. Yeah.
But you didn't then, but you would now.
I want you guys to keep an eye on him and see how incriminating this is. Just look at his face, because I've got to read from this article, and you guys just look at him and tell me whether or not it gives you a glimpse of incrimination here, okay? Cephalo is, quote, the worst in the business for the last 20 years. He's been doing play-by-play for years and never gets any better. Cephalo is a horrible play-by-play guy, makes way too many mistakes. I feel bad for Joe Rose. He's good.
It's good.
Big dog.
What do you guys think? Wow. Anything? Did you guys see anything there that would suggest
strong poker face right
that
now?
Zaslow has.
You read that. I'm gonna read you one up and see. I feel like I have heard Zaz say this on this show. Okay, he's been doing play-by-play for years and never gets any better. He has a horrible play-by-play guy, makes mistakes, and you don't know what he's gonna say. But the rest of the broadcast is useless. Zero idea what's going on. Not a talk show, but they sound like it.
Didn't even move a muscle in this face for the last 2 minutes. That's a poker face right there. I'll destroy all you in poker.
There were also remarks going after their perceived homerism, including their play-by-play is abysmal and boring. The analysis is 100% homerism, which is fine, except they're not very good at it, which is what they're hired to do, excite and inform the fan base.
Listen, are all of those things the way that I feel? Yes, they are.
Wow. What do you got against Cephalo? Sounds personal.
No, it's not personal.
Really?
He's a terrible broadcaster.
Funny. Who said that?
I just like how you think that I had control of like the entire, like I put them last.
It's Mike on Mike crime. You know, you're both leaning into a microphone for a living. You're supposed to be publicly not brutal.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. No,
well, he wasn't publicly brutal. That was private, off the record.
Was it?
Well, on the record, but anonymously.
Right. Coward.
I admit to nothing.
But you deny nothing as well.
I will not confirm or deny.
Wow.
Zaz, wasn't there a play that Jimmy had the call on that something weird happened in the game and you said you couldn't understand what was going on? There was a pick, but there was a fumble.
Yeah, that's every play.
Oh, every play.
The Minkah Fitzpatrick 2-point conversion, I was in the car listening to that, and I had no idea what, like I had no idea what happened, what was going on. I was just generally confused. I'm just staring at my radio, and I'm like, what?
So last week, a few days ago, was like 7 years, maybe it was, for the miracle in Miami. The
Gronkowski.
Yeah. Gronkowski doesn't have the angle, you know. And Kenyon Drake scores the touchdown. And so on one of these videos on Twitter, like they attached the Dolphins radio call to it, and it's an incredibly exciting play. I mean, it was it's called Miracle in Miami. All right. Cephalo didn't tell you what was going on until Kenyon Drake was at the 10-yard line.